And we are
It's even more Jesus.
What, Steve?
I thought that light would add a little bit more color, but it's
like lying to everybody.
I can't even get through the intro. I can't even get an intro in, and you're already talking. This is like a
intro is great.
This is like a friggin' nursing home. All right. Hey, before I fire it up, that was probably the wrong words to use, but shouts out to the folks in Los Angeles that are dealing with literal fire. I actually didn't realize how bad this was until I started to hear from people that they were having to evacuate and everything. And then I saw something on IG. I had shared it with some of you guys, but Jeremy Padower, who was in that area, he put out a pretty cryptic message that sounded like he lost quite a bit in this fire. So it's actually way more serious. Usually I just think of like California fires, like that's just a typical thing. Sounds like this is a pretty serious deal. So thoughts go out to all the folks out there in LA. Gents, how we doing?
Good.
Doing good. Doing good. I know we got a little bit of snow here, but that's not
5, and I just got a fresh Pokemon restock in. We're living life good.
Yeah. Neo's ready to talk Pokemon all night, so we'll. I'm sure everyone's thrilled in the chat.
Well, Neo probably doesn't have anything to say tonight because he's been live streaming all week.
Neo's been on
like a marathon 3-hour live on Saturday.
Yeah, and I missed the last live stream that we had, and then we took a week off for New Year, so it's been a long time for me.
It's been 3 weeks. Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks since we were.
Hey, but I think I've had 2 videos in there somewhere.
Yeah, we were joking before you hopped in the back that we can't make fun of you for not posting content.
Yeah, you've been on fire.
That's the only reason I do it, is so you guys can't make fun of me. What did I say to start yesterday's video up? I was like, you guys want to see a video? I want to do a video. I don't have anything to talk about, so
just film the dog.
And it still worked out just fine.
Let's shovel some snow.
Here's my breakfast, eggs and sausage, and here's Daisy again.
Damn right.
You got to throw Aaron Rodgers in the pan, too, when you're making the eggs. Just make it over him.
All right.
And Aaron Rodgers busted the Dolphins up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Is he all done, or is he going to be playing next year? Do we know?
Not for the Jets.
You think that's his decision? Or
I think it's going to be a mutual decision.
He should be playing for an assisted living.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. All right. Well, we have a long lost mystery guest. This is a guy that made content going back to the pandemic. I was a watcher for sure. I followed his journey. Flippin' Steve is also, of course, and Mike, all you guys have been in touch, Neo, with this guy. Haven't seen him in a while, though. And frankly, I'm a little upset with him. I told him about it earlier. I went through my IG messages just to see the last time that I talked to this person. And I'm sitting on red from January 28th, 23. So we're coming up on 2 years where Kenny Fornos. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing? How's everybody doing?
What's up, man?
Doing good. What's new in Kenny's world?
Man,
you married? You got 5 kids?
I am I'm with somebody. No kids yet. I am with somebody. I live in Orlando now. I was in Miami last year. I think the last time we were on Offcentered, I was living in North Carolina, so a lot's obviously changed. Just busy, man. Like it's been a long journey. It'll be 5 years that I've been in business in March. Some of the mentors that I've had for the last couple of years, they always say once you get to year 5, like you're good. So March will be year 5.
So you've been going straight, like you haven't stopped. You've been doing cards, kind of doing the same sort of stuff for the whole time.
No. So I rebranded my company actually mid 2024 last year. So I was still around the community, the whole space. But it's not like it's my full bread and butter anymore. I remember when I first started, I was grinding. I was really just going to these shows, traveling the country, making a lot of connections, all this stuff. And it was one hell of a journey. It was super fun. But I couldn't understand how one thing I noticed is I couldn't understand how people called it the hobby. And like, because I was like, yo, like I got to pay my bills. Like, you know, I'm having fun. This is a hobby, but like I've turned it into my full-time like job. And like I enjoy it, but I still just couldn't understand how like, you know, people would be like, oh, well, this is something I just do on the side. It wasn't until last year when I started like revamping the way that I do business. It's like now I understand like it's a hobby. Like now it's not like my main source of income. And yeah, so like I've been still around the space. I still have so many connections from the space. I was doing digital marketing and like running full social media pages for an auction house actually all of last year. So I would still see all the big sales. I would still be in the community. I was still buying for people as well, and I was still buying for myself. But then, you know, I changed up the way that things were going, because as you guys can see, I don't even know when's the last time I put up a card show vlog or the last time I put up anything card related, because yeah, I mean,
you realize there's a lot more money in underground poker games and in the escort, and he's got his own escort service now.
No.
Not
Here.
multiple streams of income.
No, well, yeah, I mean, I definitely did. I have branched out to multiple sources. Right now, I am running my own multimedia company. So at first, I started with expanding with videography and photography, drone footage, all this stuff. Like, as you guys know, if you guys don't know, all those years that we ran all that content, John was with me working. He was the one doing the pointing and shooting, but I was the one still running all the editing. I would hire editors, and it was good. It would get rid of the workload. But whenever you're creating something, you know how you want to create it. So after like a couple tries, like, yeah, it was good stuff. It was very efficient, but it's kind of like, nah, this isn't how I like it. You know, this is, you know, I want to do it. You know, I want to create it and the way that I like it. And, you know, it would be more time consuming. But then I think the last show that I actually put out was, if I'm not mistaken, we went to China. We went to Macau and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We got sponsored to go out there, which was amazing. You know, shout out to Martel and Card Hobby for getting us out there. We had an amazing experience. But I think after that, I realized like a couple months later, because I was in the process at that time, like deciding, hey, am I going to stay in Miami or am I going to go back to Orlando and kind of, you know, stay closer to my family, stay closer to the people that I've grown up with, to the people that I've you know brought into this business and stuff like that. So I had a lot of things to contemplate. And then not only that, I was kind of thinking like I've done this for a while. Like I want people to create their own brands. You know, like I feel like I created my own audience and I created my own brand and all that. But I always knew from the beginning like there was more like than just myself. So like I always wanted to empower others. Like I always whoever I brought along into the business or whoever I worked with, because I that's one thing that I've took a lot of like I don't know, I've really like, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like I've really enjoyed like working with people, not saying, hey, you work for me. Like we're working alongside together, stuff like that. You know, because at the end of the day, like nobody wants to feel like, hey, like I got to do this because he told me so, or they told me so. Like, no, like, you know, people want to be like, yeah, like, let's do this. Let's attack this. Like, let's get this done. You know what I mean?
Now, are you working with so when you're talking about helping kind of, you run a media company, building other people's brands, is that other card folks or other people in the hobby, or is it completely outside of the hobby with the people you're working with now?
Anybody in general, honestly. So like, I let everybody know, like, if you got a following, you can literally monetize it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever it is. Like, if you're, as you can see, you know, Michael has fishing and sports cards hobbyists. Like, if you're passionate about fishing, bro, you can make so much money on fishing. But the thing is, you gotta like, you can't
catch fish though.
Listen, I caught fish the other day. I picked him up out of the water. I held him. I talked to him. I let him back. I let him go right back out. And I took a picture of a beautiful sunset.
Look, the only witness we have here is Steve. He was the only one that we has been with you fishing. So that's all we've got, Mike.
We were fishing in the fog in a horrible day.
You see excuses piling up. I went all the way to Tampa to fish.
Oh, Yeah, here we go.
From Delaware. I didn't catch
If Kenny
it.
can make ham fishing money when he can't catch fish, then he should be able. He could do anything. For anybody.
There's more money in the fishing aspect of YouTube than there is the card aspect.
There
There's way
is.
more people interested in
Just stage it,
fishing
Ham.
cards.
Stage it like some of the content.
You know, Michael, my dad, avid fisherman. Like this man loves fishing, and he be watching this one dude that they be going out. I don't know what his name is, but you know, I be watching the videos with him. I'm just like, I be telling my dad, I'm like, you know, we can do this too, right? Like I have the same equipment, like
Same everything.
I'm like, we could do this, but it's like, you know, obviously, like I'm very enthusiastic and like I'm very like, yo, let's get this done now. Like let's create this. Like, but obviously, like you got to understand, like my family, I'm the first entrepreneur in my family. So ever since I first started with just in general, any kind of like anything, like they've always, you know, they don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like for example, if you're around 5 people that aren't entrepreneurs, you know, they're going to look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
Vintage card collector's got a question for you, Kenny, and he says not a criticism either way. Just curious. So when you were into cards, was it kind of more of the draw? Was it the flip game and kind of the fun of being able to buy and sell cards? Because look, I mean, 2020 and 2021 was really fun for all of us. Frankly, we were all in it, kind of, you know, playing the flip game and all the opportunities. Was it more of a business opportunity, or was it something like you were into cards and it was kind of like just a mishmash of it was a great, you know, an opportunity and you like cards?
Yeah. So great question. I do have a passion for cards. I still do. Like, I love it. Like, I've always loved it. Growing up, it's something that was in my blood. Like, I remember my neighbor, he gifted me cards. We went to this card shop. It was a small town I grew up in. It's called Drexel. You can look it up. Probably less than like 1,000 population. There was this place called David Sports Cards. I remember my boy pulled, it was like a relic of, I think it was, what's his name? He played for the Red Sox in like 05, 06. He was one hell of a pitcher. It wasn't Wakefield and it wasn't Schilling. It was the other one that had like crazy fastball. If you guys know
Beckett?
Who?
Josh Beckett.
No, not Beckett. Another one. He had blonde hair, long hair.
Oh. I'm not sure.
Anybody know? You know?
I don't know.
Was it Clay
Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence?
Clay Buchholz.
Buchholz? Wasn't he a Red Sox?
There was a
Yeah.
Clay
Yeah.
Buchholz.
Yeah, he was
Clay
drafted by
Buchholz
the Red
was
Sox.
Red
Sox.
Was it like early, like 05 to 08ish?
Yep. Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah. So we went. I remember we went to the local card shop, literally this small shop, and he pulled this crazy like Buchholz, like half the card was a full like mini Red Sox jersey. And when I saw that, I was like, bro, like how do I pull that? Like where do I get in on this action? So you know, I remember before I even got started, you know, I've always, ever since I was young, man, like I always wanted to turn $1 into $2. I started flipping sneakers when I was like 15 years old. You know, as time goes on, the thing is I moved from North Carolina to Orlando when I was 15. So who knows what happened to my cards, you know, like time goes on, you just forget about them. So like I said, I ended up doing sneakers. I ended up selling streetwear. I used to thrift. Like I used to just do a lot of stuff I was always in sales. Like, so I just always wanted extra money. Like we didn't grow up with no money. So, you know, it's like, I'm trying to get some, like, I'm trying to have fun, make some money, you know, provide for whoever. But then I remember, you know, some of my favorite content creators, they were talking about, like, for example, Gary Vee, he was talking about Giannis rookie cards and Zion rookie cards. And I was like, sports cards, like them joints is still like, they're booming. Like, you know, can we make money on them or whatever? And so I did more research. Late 2019, like I still kept reading up on it, making sure I did my research. I was working at Sprint during the time, and you know, I was getting paid decently. But I remember in March 2020, right before the pandemic, I bought 2 Jason Tatum PSA 10s, an Optic Shock PSA 10 and a base Prism PSA 10, and I spent, I think, like $500 on both. And I remember my mom thought I was insane. The person that I was with at the time thought I was insane because, mind you, we didn't have no money. I was living with my mom still. You know, I didn't really like, they were looking at me like, damn, like, what are you doing? So whenever that happened, you know, everything shut down. I was working. I was an essential worker. And then I remember like I started buying more and more and more, and then it just gradually kept going up. And then I started finding out about retail boxes. I started getting in on the retail drops, and I was having so much fun because I was like, bro, I feel like a kid. This is fun. And not only that, like I remember one time I found a stash of retail and I ripped like half of it. And mind you, it was the dumbest decision ever because it's retail.
Always is.
It was probably the dumbest decision ever. I think some of the like I remember back then the chase was a Genesis. I think my best Genesis was like PJ Tucker. Like just like who wants PJ Tucker? He's cool and all, but nobody wants PJ Tucker.
Now, Kenny, are you still working with Roth and Card Taxi, and I don't know everybody's name, but all that crew, Taxi Cab, and the rest of the crew?
I mean, like we're not in contact as we all once were, but like we played ball last month. Like,
oh, okay, well, that's cool.
They're all in Central Florida. Like we played ball last month. Don't let them lie to you. Like none of them can guard me. I'm just letting you guys know. Like don't let any of them lie to you. Like they literally cannot check me.
Now, are you putting out other content like elsewhere on a different channel? It's called something else, or anything that we can, or are you planning to?
Yes, I am planning to on so there's something that I have planned with my company actually as well. I'm actually going to be putting something on like an event within the near future. So, and it's going to have its own thing pretty much. But I am still the originator.
It's $10,000 a hand.
No, it's nothing to do with gambling. You can ask me, man. I'm not a big fan of gambling like that.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, literally, like gambling's cool, but like, I don't know. It's just it ain't it's never been for me. But yeah, I back to that question. Like, yes, I do have a passion for cards still to this day. The thing is now, like I said, it's not my bread and butter. Like, it's not like how I pay my bills now. So it's not something that I'm going out of my way to. Like, I now have understood like how people call it the hobby. Now I have actually turned it into a hobby. Like, for example, if somebody sends me a spreadsheet with stuff, I just outsource it and I send it to somebody else. They take care of me on the back end because I just don't have time for it. So, and I still try to take care of the people that and the relationships that I have still who run it full time. And, like I said, they take care of me on the back end, man. And it's cool to see like the growth that I've seen in some individuals over the last couple years. Like, they started kind of like how I started, man. You get a couple nice cards, you work your way up, you trade. Then out of nowhere, like, I'm seeing some of these big whatnot channels or some of these big Instagram channels, and bro, like they got some crazy cards. And it's like, I remember going to the shows and they were grinding their ass off like I was, like literally, buying the silver prisms or the blue ices and the autos and just trading their way up. And, it's amazing to see growth in people.
How much of the contacts that you have are sourcing for repacks or for like whatnot sales, for like single sales? Is it a lot of the people that you are in contact with, or is it just kind of like dealers that sell cards? It shows.
I'd say like 50-50, or like, for example, if I know somebody's got a lot of capital that they want like big bulk, like then, I'll reach out to for example, if somebody sends me a big spreadsheet, and that they want it off it all at once, then I'll go to somebody who has a lot of capital and be like, yo, is this something you're interested in? And I just forward the spreadsheet over. Now I know a few personally close relationships to me that they just do it full time still. That they remember nowadays, like you can do it but your audience. Like a lot of people I know, they know the type of cards they want. They know the range they want. So for example, they'll only buy like, let's say like 25 to like maybe 1,500, and that's fine. And then I know some people that'll buy 1,000 to 10,000 at that range because they've got their audience. That's the thing. Whenever you do this stuff full time, you've got to know your customer base. Otherwise, you're not gonna, you can't just. Like I remember in one of my years where I was having not one of my years, but one of the months where I felt like I was off. I remember I was buying out of nowhere just a different range, and it wasn't selling on Instagram, and that's where I would sell stuff, Instagram and Facebook. And I was like, I had to look back and be like, well, you can't just out of nowhere hit a new range and think your customer base is just gonna, oh yeah, snap sale. Like no, like you have to acquire that customer base first. So whatever it is that you're trying to do with sports cards, like just make sure you got something like you got something going, and then like work your way up, because slow progress is better than no progress.
I have a question, because like as someone who's flipped a lot, and it was never my livelihood, you know, I always had my casino gig. That was always my bread and butter. That's what pays my bills. Anything that I ever made off cards, and sometimes even setting up at shows when I've done well, has always just been extra capital, basically fun money, luxury money, whatever. Nowadays, now that, you know, the market is softer than it was when it was really easy to sell, how feasible is it for someone to be a show to show, or, you know, travel show to show and flip and pay what I call what I refer to as realistic bills? You know, if you don't have, and I did a video on this once, and you know, how much stuff goes, I don't want to say undisclosed, but how much stuff, you know, when you see a video and somebody's like, how I make a living selling sports cards, and I made this much money selling sports cards, but they never say, hey, this is the realistic part of it. Like, I do or I don't have a mortgage. I do or I don't have car payments. I do or I don't have kids, you know. Or like you stated earlier, you went on to China and it was sponsored. They never say, are their travel expenses covered? Anything like that. How much of that actually out there, like, would you say goes on where lots of stuff is somewhat paid for, whether it's through content or whether it's through sponsors and things like that, which there's nothing wrong with that, because when you put in work and you earn stuff like that, that's why you do it. And that's why and that's how you earn it. But how much is that stuff like actually goes undisclosed and makes the lifestyle of flipping sports cards for a living look more glamorous and easy than it actually is?
I'm not going to say it's not easy. I'm going to say it's challenging. For example, a lot of people really don't want to disclose what they're doing, which is okay. You know, I don't ever knock on it. You know, I definitely, one thing about my channel that I really, really enjoyed showing was like very raw interactions, just kind of showing how stuff happened behind the scenes, you know, like the art of the deal. You know, for example, every expense that I ever had, like it comes out of your pocket, you know, like no matter like for example, John, you guys know John, he's literally been my right-hand man for the last, I mean, I've known him since high school. I told him from the beginning, you know, hey, I want to start a journey. I want to travel. You know, I'd love to bring you along. All his expenses were always covered. Everything. Mm-hmm. His flight was always covered. He was always fed. He can get whatever the hell he wanted. Like literally, like I'd say, get whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Hotel, obviously, we'd be staying, you know, together, 2 beds, whatever. I would provide him all the equipment. You know what I mean? Like I remember at first we started with an iPhone. Then I bought a camera and I said, hey, you know, let's get this going. Let's up it up a notch. Now, whenever we went to China, I was the only one that was sponsored. So I still paid for John's ticket. John's ticket to China was $1,800. You know, people don't understand. Like if you guys want to know, like legitimate logistics, like, you know, I got sponsored to go.
Right.
So it's still, you know, like I'm not going without him. You know what I mean? Like most of the shows, like I would literally tell him, like if there was a show where you saw me and he wasn't there, there was a reason he wasn't there. I couldn't afford it. Like literally, I just couldn't, you know, I couldn't get him out there, and that's okay. Like a lot of people aren't aware of like a lot of people won't like say like, oh, I just can't afford it. Like I just can't afford it. Like it's okay to say you can't afford it. You know what I mean? You got to keep the business aspect of it going. But John's been there since the beginning, man, and even still to this day with what we're doing now. You know, we're still doing strong with other clients. But yeah, I mean, there goes a lot of travel expenses. I moved out of my house in 2021. So I didn't start traveling until I started traveling right before I moved out. Now, mind you, I lived in North Carolina, so the cost of living wasn't even close to what it is here in Florida. Like my apartment in North Carolina was, I think, $800, $850 a month after all expenses. Right now, right now it's like triple that. You know what I mean? Like it's a way different ball game in Florida. And but yeah, I mean, no matter what, I would pay for every expense. So for example, think of it like this. You go to the Dallas card show. Charlotte to Dallas, just to give you an overview, Charlotte to Dallas, no matter what, you have to take American Airlines to go to Dallas with Charlotte. So American Airlines, you're already paying $300 plus for the flight. So you got $300 plus for the flight. If you want to stay at the hotel, the Dallas Card Show Hotel, it's going to be, I think, like $150 a night. You're staying there for 4 days. So that's what? 3, 4, 50, 600. So you're already in 1,000, let's say, right? You got to pay John for each day. No matter what, I would literally let John know, yo, it's based on like we're gonna like he had a rate, but then pretty much like if I did well, like if I did more than well, like I'd pay him way more than what he got every time. And then you got food. Food is expensive in Dallas. And that's it. Ubers, whatever it is. That's pretty much how it works.
Right. Well, no, we're all aware of like travel expenses, just because we go to the National every year, if we don't do anything else, going to Culture Collision and things like that, there's always going to be the travel expenses and things like that. And, full disclosure on your part, I'm just curious how many people don't have those expenses. You know what I mean? We have those expenses. You have those expenses. Are there people out there that you think that are big content creators that have those expenses covered for them? And like I said, if they do, that's awesome. That they do, that they worked to the point to where that's beneficial to them. That's like a benefit of the job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a few content creators that get sponsored all the time to go to where they want to go. And it doesn't hurt to ask. Like, sometimes like there would be a show where like they wanted us to go, and we'd kind of just be like, yo, like, can you help us out? Just get us like, can we get a table at least? You know what I mean? Like whatever expense it be. Like, can we get like a table? Can we set up? We can get out there. Can we just set up or something like that? And some of these shows would offer, hey, we could get you at the hotel, or we can get you the table and the hotel. But most of the time, like, nah, like, I mean, I would, at least I mean,
that's just basically what I'm getting at. There's just more of a real side to this that a lot of times that you don't see put forth in content. That you see the deals and the fun part of flipping sports cards, and rightfully so. That's what people want to see. That's what's entertaining, right? But then there's also the inquiring minds, right? National Enquirer. But the inquiring minds also would like to know, what else is there to it? It can't be that easy. And there's never really any content kind of like based around the logistics and the expenses and things like that, whether they're paid for by the actual content creator themselves or whether they're paid for by a sponsor. It doesn't matter either way. There's just never really been any kind of content that's been like, hey, this is the deals and this is the great part about the hustle, but this is also the shit part about the hustle, right? I know people don't necessarily want to see that stuff. It's not as entertaining, but it is also, informative at times, where people would like to see something like that.
Yeah. And like I said, it is challenging. Like I think, people will look at the glamour side of it and be like, oh shit, he got like a $10,000 card, or, he got like a $5,000 card. Right. It took time to get there. You know what I mean? Like it didn't just spawn in my hand. You know what I mean? Like you had to. There.
And because one of the words that gets thrown around is influencer, right? And to an extent, we all have some sort of influence over the people that watch our content. And one of my things has always been like to be straightforward about everything, because you don't want somebody to take something out of context and be like, I can do this. It's super easy, right? That's always been one of my pet peeves when I've put out any time I've ever put out, I don't want to say a backlash video, but just a video where I question, and I'm just kind of like, look, lots of young people watch this content, and it's not all, and it's all glorified in the content, but it's not just show them the real side of it too. So they don't, say, hey, this is for me, without, going out and like seeing, oh shit, this was unexpected.
Kenny, I got a question. How hard is it to make different content in this space outside of revolving it around a big card or whatnot? I think the problem that a lot of us have is it's to the point now somebody says $50,000 card and I'm like, okay, so what? It's like no longer a big deal. And it's almost like all the big dollar stuff's been thrown in our face so much and all these deals that nothing feels special anymore. So like from a content creator, how do you find something to make it feel special and or deliver something different?
I mean, just really the thing that I wanted, no matter what, with my channel, one of the messages that I always tried to get across was I wasn't just a sports card content creator. Like sports cards it's an amazing experience still to this day. Like for example, if I go to a show and I'm with John, I'm gonna record again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, like I was trying to say, with my company now, you know, I'm all about like personal empowerment, pretty much. Like, yo, like monetize yourself, whatever it is that you're passionate about. You know, it could be fishing, it could be, you know, camera stuff, it could be you're playing basketball, whatever it is. Like, so one of the things that I incorporated into my videos, I remember, like, you know, I'd kind of do a little bit behind the scenes. I'd go visit some shops, some of the genuine people that they invited me into shops. What else? Like, I'm trying to think, because it's been so long since I've uploaded on YouTube, so I don't even know. Like, you guys can go to my channel and pop it up. Like, there's a few different ones. Like, I'd put like, you know, like the day before a show or something, you know, and it'd just be like us just hanging out, just having a good time. So, you know, at the end of the day, your audience, they'll like you for you. So that's one thing that I gravitated towards. Like, you know, hey, I've built this audience, and you know, it's not like think of it like this. They don't like you because you just out there grinding sports cards. Like they like you because, you know, they like you, you know,
Personality. They find something about the person they watch that they can relate to.
Yeah.
Each case like this.
Yeah, like with me, it could be a middle-aged male. Maybe I'm bald. Maybe I got kids. You know, something like that. You know, it's they find something they can really relate to.
Yeah, like it's just like an experience. You know, a lot of the people that I met, man, especially like at the shows, like they would come up and be like, "Yo, like I've seen you like do this, and that's cool." And you know, and then the kids too. The kids are the most amazing part, because they'll literally say they love the channel, and then they'll try to strike a deal with me, and they know the game already. They're ruthless. So it's like, they're you know, like I be telling them, I'm like, you can't like try to out you can't like take you know,
Can't use your own tricks.
They use your tricks against you.
Like literally,
it's like you're dealing with yourself.
Literally. So I'm like, damn, like it's cool because the kids nowadays too, what I love about it is they'll see whatever content they're watching, whether they're watching a basketball player or they're watching like a regular, like just a content creator doing anything. They'll watch it, the experience, and be like, I can do that. And they'll literally start so early, and they'll know that they can do it. And trust me, like these kids nowadays are like straight to the point.
They're sharp. They're sharp, and they're trying to cut you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have unlimited. Kids have unlimited time. We don't.
That too.
Where do they get all these big cards at? Like,
bro,
man.
Oh, you'd be surprised. A lot of them grinded for it.
I'm sure, but it's being like, I mean, I was watching a kid the last Tampa show here just hustle people for $5, but he was going all around the show for, like, his mom dropped him off. He had no parents with him, and I mean, he came up to about my waist. So I was like, I looked at him one time. I was like, "Well, you drive a Porsche or BMW?" He goes, "BMW." I'm like, "Okay, I see where you're at."
You go to Kenny, but to Kenny's point, you guys know how I, like last year when I started redoing my content in a different style, and I was adding a lot of B-roll to it. The B-roll that Dustin was complaining about at the National and things like that.
Collecting cards.
But it was like when I started incorporating more of my everyday life and just myself, you know, hanging out with my dog or working in the yard, and then I would add in a snippet of me talking about a card, or I'd flash in a deal that I just did. But then I'd go back to me driving my car to work or something like that.
Yeah,
really got better. Yeah, really got a better response than my old videos. Especially from the people that were actually there to connect with me, as opposed to just listen to what they should be buying and selling at any given time.
Yeah.
Well, and that was a big shift from content from 2020 to 2021. There was a lot of people that were watching to figure out what am I buying and selling. And then it shifted over the last couple of years for sure, you know, into just different things, a variety of different stuff.
And another thing as well, like, if you guys go back and watch my old stuff, like my old stuff, you know, a lot of that influence actually comes from Dustin. Dustin was one of the first, like, content creators I was watching. Like obviously there was the guys who were like going to shows and stuff like that. But like, I remember when I was like getting into the investing side of things,
where I was
Dustin,
in like the basement and my head was like right here.
Yeah,
Like it was just like my
like,
You
ear.
had like a picture of Fran, like the
thought
Eiffel
you were
Tower
right
picture
here, then
behind
you
you or
had-
something.
Yeah.
you had the
I was like talking to the camera right here.
yeah, he'd be like, good evening, collectors and investors. So, something like that. Like, I remember it, man. Like, because at the time, like, I was having so much fun flipping like these mosaic cards or these, what else was out at the time? I think it was Mosaic Chronicles. I made a lot of money off of, or not Chronicles. And Mosaic. I just remember watching Dustin's stuff because I was starting to like see more longevity. I was like, this is something I really want to do. This is something I'd love to turn into a business. But yeah, like if you watch my old stuff, literally before I was even at these shows, all that influence came from Dustin. Literally, like I was in my room.
I wouldn't say that too loud.
Yeah,
How many people are listening? We can edit a live stream.
I'm learning that right now. I'm learning that right now live.
Look, I always.
What is he paying you?
He's not paying me enough. I mean, I haven't replied to him in 2 years.
Oh man,
Yeah, right?
I know.
Way to tell
You
you
can see where it fell off. It fell off. It fell off fast. I'm just gonna clip that part, and just use that. And all
It's gonna be on
that's
every
gonna be my.
intro going forward.
I got some nice
Be
B-roll.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X.
I don't know. Kenny
Got his
Cross.
OnlyFans.
Oh man, that's
Oh,
funny.
God.
I remember.
I mean,
hello,
Steve-
Shelby.
Steve
Say hi to
commented-
Shelby.
Steve commented on one of my videos and invited. I can't remember if it was an email or if it
Yeah,
was
I can remember it.
He
Yeah.
invited me to a
Steve doesn't
Facebook
forget.
group, and I joined the Facebook group, and then I was in the Facebook group for like a month, and Steve didn't know that I was like it was me from the videos. In the
Yeah, I
Facebook
didn't know it was him. So
It was really funny.
I comment. I'm like, hey man, I just started a Facebook group because it was a falling out of another Facebook group that I got kicked out of. So I started a new one, and I was like, hey,
what was it like the red? What was it red?
Red Cape Sports. It was from Canada,
Cape
so they
Sports.
kicked me out of their
Are they
Facebook group.
Uh,
And so, yeah, and I got talked into starting my own Facebook group. And this was before I got talked into doing YouTube by the people in that Facebook group. But it was like, it was just, I knew you at the time, personal finance dad, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
like,
beautiful.
I left a comment. I was like, hey, I got a Facebook group if you want to join it. Well, then this guy named Dustin joins the Facebook group, but I don't know that the personal finance dad and Dustin are the same guy.
right.
So
yeah.
it goes on for like a month and a half, and I just figured, I'm like, oh, he's a big YouTuber. He just blew me off, right? Not literally, but
Well,
he
it's
just
funny. It's like big
ignored
YouTuber
me.
with like 500.
I don't know why you went there with that.
and then just like randomly one day I was like, wait a minute, are you and the personal finance dad the same guy? Yeah, so that was kind of like, yeah. I had someone who actually disliked me in the Red Cape Sports Facebook group. They disliked me, and they used to always say stuff on my posts and stories that I would write, and they would be like, "Oh, you're fake. You work for Jeff Wilson." And I'm like, "That's the furthest thing from the truth, right?" And he used to just say things like that to me. And I was under that Facebook group under my real name, right?
This is them. I found them.
So later, I create a YouTube channel, and this person actually becomes a regular of my YouTube channel, commenting a lot, messaging me, and liking my videos and being friendly and liking me. And then they realized, they were like, "Wait a minute, are you the guy from Red Cape that I didn't like?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh man, you're not anything like I thought that you were when you were writing your sports stories and stuff." Because they thought I was just copy pasting stuff from other people. Well, this one person thought I was getting all my ideas from Jeff Wilson and then writing stories, which wasn't true. If I was doing that, I would have been much more further along than I am now. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty interesting too. How sometimes stuff like that can happen.
I did reach out to our boy Brad, the original host with me for Off-Centered, because he's in Hollywood. So I reached out to him. I texted him about 30 minutes ago just to make sure that all is good. I haven't heard anything back. So hopefully,
Yes,
Brad.
I have a friend that lives in Hollywood, and he actually sent me some pictures today of the sky. He was like, everything's good here right now, but look at the sky, and it looked crazy, like out of a sci-fi movie. It was like all like smoke from LA.
Yeah, I was looking on Twitter because that's where you can really get kind of like up to the minute, whatever, like people just posting whatever on X or Twitter or whatever. And there's some crazy stuff on there. So haven't heard back from Brad. Hopefully he didn't get caught in the fire. We'll see. It's like Mad Max Fury Road out there right now.
He's probably filming a short movie right now.
Yeah, he's probably leading some sort
of.
All
the effects are cheap because they're real.
He's leading a CrossFit class.
I didn't get a chance to shout out Filmington earlier when he dropped this quick comment in here.
Oh, yeah.
Because Filmington did win. Anybody who didn't watch my last video, Filmington did win the Content Creators Fantasy Football League. So Filmington was the winner of that. This year he beat Jeff in the finals, which was great because I didn't want to repeat. And I didn't want Jeff to repeat. And so Filmington won. And I got to figure out if he wants me to just wait till the National to present him with his ring, mail him his ring.
Well, you should give it to him at
the
party.
And give it to him. Yeah, giving him to if he has his Filmington party to National this year would be awesome to do it. But getting your fantasy football ring in July when the season ends and is ended now, that's like a kind of a long way. You're already starting to prep. You're already starting to prep for the following
season. It's not over
season.
for me, buddy. I don't know. My season's not over. I got a game Sunday night.
I'm talking about fantasy football.
I don't care about that anymore. I was in last
you
place.
shouldn't. You didn't seem to care about it when it was going on when you finished in last.
Dude, my team was so decimated with injuries. I couldn't come back.
My team was terrible. I was starting Aiden O'Connell at quarterback there for a while. Man, I don't want to hear about it.
I was starting Jameis Winston.
Jameis was putting up fantasy numbers. What are you talking about?
I was putting them in there. I had Tua in there. Tua was falling apart. This is a giant crap show. All right, Kenny's back. He made it.
Sorry. Camera trouble.
Now, Kenny, you know what's funny is you were at one of the shows here in Tampa some point last year, and I would use an entrance video when I come in to like show like that the show's busy or whatnot for my thumbnail, and you were walking in the middle of the shot when I took it. So what I did is I took the character South Park Kenny and put him on your backpack. But people don't realize that Kenny meant that you are Kenny in the actual clip.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Easter egg.
I got you. They didn't get it.
Well, Kenny, we don't want to keep you all night. What should the people know about the new business? How can we help? And what should we tell the people? What do you think?
Am I getting kicked off?
No. You can say all you want.
I was going to let you say bye before I just drop you off the stream.
No.
He doesn't know how to drop anybody off the stream.
No. I mean, everything's good. I mean, like I will say, I'm still in the sports card world. Like I've literally still been in it the last however long you guys haven't seen me. So
are you going to be at the National? You plan to go to the National this year?
Probably, honestly. Probably actually. Last year I was gonna go, but I ended up going to Honduras. So
yeah, you were out of the country so I was thinking about back to last year's National, but it was the National before when I got there and I had a VIP pass for my contest winner, but I was stranded on the second floor waiting to get in with the general admission. And I put out like an Instagram message just to everyone. I just said, somebody please save me. I'm stuck on the second floor to National. And I remember you texted me like almost immediately and be like, hey man, meet me in the lobby. I'll get you into the National. I guess I felt like that was Cleveland, but now that I do remember, I was texting you from Cleveland and I was like, where the hell are you at? And you were like, I'm out of the country. And then I remember seeing that you were in Honduras.
Yeah, it was my first time going. It's where my mom's from. And it was one hell of an experience actually, you really appreciate like what you got, whether what you got is a little bit, over there. Like the first night there was no power went out for 10 hours. There was no water. And it was a nice experience, but
now that's in Central America.
Yeah, it's in Central America. And actually, the cool thing about it, I ended up making a new connection, and I'm currently right now in the process of we're building a duplex apartment complex over there. So it'll be done probably within the next 6 months. So if any of you guys ever go to La Ceiba, Honduras, let me know. I will take care of you. You guys can.
I'm going to do a fun off-center trip. Maybe we all go out there and we just do the show from Kenny's place.
I got seriously. Like my cousin's gonna manage it. She's like 17, 18 years old, but she speaks good English. it's one of my other ventures that I started, obviously getting property in another country. And not only that, like, it's pretty cool because now, like, whenever my family and I visit back home, we got a place to stay. So
Yeah, awesome.
like I said, if you guys ever go, let's say Honduras, let me know. But it's got to be within the next 6 months because the place is getting built currently. So
Yeah, we'll give you notice. We won't just show up.
yeah.
Yeah.
But and it's really hot over there, by the way. I'm just letting you know, it's hot. It's hot.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I would give you more time, but you haven't responded to me in 2 years, so it's like a 40-minute cut. It's a cut. But let's stay in touch.
I got you. You guys can send me your numbers or whatever, and we can reconnect there. So
I
thank
got
you
your new
for
one
coming on again. And it's good to hear from you guys, for real.
Yeah, good to talk to you, Kenny. Take
You
care,
too,
buddy.
All right, man. Take care of
Take care.
yourself.
See you around, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so at 9:50, we got a comment from Rob Sonia or Rob. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Sonia. I'm not sure. It says nobody cares about your fantasy football league. He's disqualified from the national giveaway on that comment.
All right, make a note. Rob Sanier. He's out.
Because the fantasy football league pays for the accommodations for the national giveaway.
We all chipped in on it. So
yes. I put everybody's face in my last video.
Mm-hmm.
You probably didn't watch it, so you didn't see it.
I did.
Well, you did.
Buster
You commented
Chestnut,
something.
did he
I
win?
commented.
Is Buster Chestnut?
Buster Chestnut is the first entry. He answered one of my
oh.
trivia questions in one of my video comments. And then I randomized it, from all the people who answered it correctly. So yes.
Cam won it last year.
Yep. Which I saw Cam at the Tampa show.
Cam he's got no choice but to be nice to me now.
Well, Cam was going fishing after the show, and Cam didn't send me any pictures of any fish. So I feel like, I don't know if he caught anything.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
I don't know if I should put it up or We'll go time out, Gloria. Gloria. We'll go time out.
Gloria.
Okay. Man. Did the Cavs win? What happened? The Cavs pulled it out? All right. They're going to break Golden State's record.
For what?
Regular season wins.
Oh, really? The Cavs are doing that good?
32.
It's so funny to me. Nobody watches basketball anymore except for Neo. Nobody watches it.
I only watch it during offside.
I only watch it when I get courtside seats.
He's wearing a Cleveland Cavaliers polo or zip up.
It's a zip. 3/4 zip.
Zip up. 3/4 zip. So a polo with a zipper.
This is actually a hoodie. Got a hood on the back.
Oh, well, it's a hoodie too.
Wow. Multi-purpose. All right. So what's new? What's going on? What is the topic du jour? Chat, help us out.
Well, here's the thing too. So what do you think on this take is, or Neo can chime in on this as well. I've noticed the interest in, obviously Pokemon's crazy right now, but basically non-main sport is becoming more and more attractive to people. I mean, Topps is now getting wrestling. Wrestling was still getting pretty attractive. Now that it's on Netflix,
I can answer that for
your
you.
audience. It
You
looks
just
like
lobbed one up for Neo. You just lobbed that up for Neo.
I can also answer that to an extent. Like
and Marvel, though. But I feel like Marvel, wrestling, and Pokemon have now kind of taken center stage here.
stuff gets stale.
Yeah.
So,
Stuff gets stale.
Elaborate on
Prism?
that. Elaborate on
You
that.
mean optic? You mean the word panini?
Well, not just that. Do you know how it is? A lot of times when you go to a sports card show and you go past showcase after showcase after showcase of the same types of cards and the same types of players, after a while you're just kind of fatigued by seeing the same thing all the time.
I get blinded.
You gonna let me finish? So,
Nope.
Oh no!
so
Speaking of wrestling,
yeah, but what happens when you see that one thing that you really never see in a showcase? That one card that stands out. You gravitate to it.
I put it in my video.
Whether it's high dollar, low dollar. Me last year. Now, granted, I do have a niche. I do like the pop culture stuff and things like that. But one of the cards that I really wanted from the National last year was a Joey Chestnut, Allen and Ginter autograph card. It was like the only one in the National. but there were showcases full, you have loads of showcases of vintage, you have loads of showcases of modern, and it's always going to be the same types of players because the players that are popular are going to get the showcase space out of, someone might have tons of inventory, but they only have so many showcases. So they're going to put out the popular players, right? And the popular stuff is not always what necessarily appeals to the collectors. The collectors are looking for the stuff that they don't see that much.
And what's funny is a lot of that gets buried also in a box that you have to pick through because they don't put it out because they're not assuming somebody's really looking for it.
Right. That's the thing. A lot of times you don't see it. So this time, it wasn't this time last year. It was about this time last year. We were going to Culture Collision, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all went. I got a table.
Because, Dustin, you set up all your Stranger Things stuff, which got a lot of attention. You didn't do a lot of sales, but it got a lot of attention. Why? Because it was the different thing in the room.
It was just different. Yeah, exactly.
See, my pop culture stuff, I did good. I made some sales on some of that stuff. Now I was priced to sell, you know that, but people were like, man, that's different. That's cool. And
now Kenny's going out with a fury right here, just 4 in a row, 4 banger right here, just slamming it.
Kenny, why do you say that it's going to go away? What's going to cause it to go away?
If anybody
lives on that stuff.
Why does it type out?
Why does it type out 4 times? Well, only one of them comes in.
I had a problem with. Remember?
Because it's going in on everybody's channel.
Are you logged in on everyone's channel?
Because there's one. I see one paper clip, which means that's the one that's clipped from my channel, but the other ones don't have a paper.
Oh, you know what, Kenny? You're still in the stream. Do I have to bump you out? You're technically. I don't. Oh, kick from studio. Here we go.
Can you see him?
He's just sitting in the background.
No, but the camera and everything is off. Okay. So now I got you out of the studio. So it should only be one time now. Okay. Oh, guys, pause. I just heard back from Brad, the comeback card investor. He's actually in my phone as Brad, comeback card investor. Hey, Dustin, thanks for checking in. I'm fine. Kind of in the middle, but shouldn't. Pretty crazy though. Everything is good. Okay, so he's alive. He's alive out there. Our boy Brad is alive, so we're good. Crazy. All right. I can't get over the fire thing. I can't get over it because you hear about the wildfires in California. It's almost like hurricanes in Florida. It's like blah blah blah, hurricane, whatever. I lived in Florida for 25 years, with like Ham, and so used to it. Same thing with wildfires in California, but to see all the devastation, it's just insane.
Well, it's just like this past year with the hurricanes. It was
uncover my face.
Sorry, I'm flashing up the second channel for all of the Pokies, the Pokemon folks that are in the chat. I just wanted to get the promotion out here. We got the second channel is locked and loaded for all of the Pokemon content that you can watch. Neo's so tired of hearing about the second channel. Although Neo, thank you for throwing me up there. You did throw me up on one of your videos this week, so I appreciate that for the second channel.
Did you use the same thumbnail like 4 times in a row?
Yeah,
I don't have time.
The box.
I don't have time to take a bunch of pictures and do all this stuff. Too busy. All right, where were we? Sorry, go ahead. What's up, Manu 99 Newsstand? What's up, dude?
No, originally I was asking Kenny if I don't know if he's still there. Yeah, he is.
Kenny dropping hot takes after he leaves with repacks are dying.
And he's talking about his new house in Honduras on the thing, and then all of a sudden he leaves, and it's repacks are going away.
Starts dropping bombs.
Yeah, it's like
Timepiece Esquire is talking about the '90s football inserts, and again, that plays into the line of, they stay popular because they have a collector base. A lot of the people that are buying those to put them away. Now you might find a flipper that buys them raw and gets them graded and things like that. But those cards ultimately find a home. Established players and Hall of Famers ultimately find a home with a collector, as more so as a modern player that doesn't have an established career and you're just kind of playing the volatility of the market.
The late 90s and early 2000s is just hard to find those cards anymore.
Kenny was just setting up the pump for his repack.
The real
guys, I'm telling you, the upside down repack. We've got to do the upside down. Well, your wallet is not turned upside down. It's the upside down.
You said the repacks right now have no value.
He's still behind the scenes. We're gonna see it. Dude.
Kenny's like the
I
eye of
knew it.
Sauron. Just always
now
watching.
he's dropping all the nuggets.
I knew it. No, I'm not running a reap. Okay, we'll see, buddy. We'll see.
Uh-huh. Yep. Next thing you know, he's gonna be breaking.
Yeah, that's one thing. And I've heard a lot of people say this. Now you go to a show and there's sports cards, pop culture, Pokemon. It's way more about my Raleigh show here locally. It used to be 90% sports cards, 10% Pokemon. Now it's 50-50 easily, 50-50 split both ways between sports and pop culture, and then just straight up Pokemon. It's crazy.
Right. But I wouldn't say, Pokemon, I would say, has just as big of a collector base now as sports cards.
Pokemon's way bigger.
Way bigger. So, I mean,
yeah.
So for Pokemon to be taking over some of the shows, again, you're still going to see lots and lots of showcases of Pokemon. It's like when you come across like a rare showcase of just stuff that you never really see. I mean, you see Pokemon scene, right? It's not a secret. But a lot of times, like with you, Dustin, like there's just cards you don't even know exist. And then when you're seeing them, you're like, wow, that card exists. Like when the Ghostbusters cards we talked about. And you immediately had to have that card for your collection.
Yeah, the Dan Aykroyd auto.
Right. If you were walking along at a show and saw that in a showcase full of basketball cards, you would stop and be like, well, that's the one different card in there. I like that, right? Because you're not going to see that everywhere.
Neo's the Pokemon killer. He actually showcased a new, scanner thingy-mabobber that shows the hits.
Only works on loose packs. That's what Dustin's buying. So I had to do that video on purpose.
I'm deep into the loose pack game. No, I don't have any loose packs as of yet. Oh God, the burbs. Hell, we've been talking about this. Everybody on this stream on Off Centered agrees that the pop culture, the world of pop culture, going back to the 80s, 90s, is so underserved with sets. They're bringing out a Cheers set, which is great. Rittenhouse.
That Cheers set's going to do gangbusters.
Did you see
if they could release any of these things and it would go nuts. Any of it. Like just
imagine a Saved by the Bell set.
Some people DM me and they said, like, I guess the reason why we don't see stuff like that is I guess the licensing is just an absolute mess.
Well, it's like,
yeah,
because you have to have the signers. Like, you can't do a Saved by the Bell set unless you get like 8/10 of the main cast.
Yeah, but half of them all go to shows and do signings at different cons.
Right. I was talking.
For some shows you might be able to pull it off, but for others you can't. It just depends on the show.
Well, I was talking to him about this the other day. That Cryptozoic put out a Christmas Story set, over the iconic movie A Christmas Story with the Red Ryder BB gun and stuff. Well, they put out a set this year, and like Peter Billingsley autographs out of that are selling for $300 and up. But like Peter Billingsley autograph on a piece of memorabilia or a picture or anything never really been a desirable or highly collectible thing, because other than Christmas Story and what was he like Messy Marvin on the old
they just changed the
commercials. But I mean, if you say Peter Billingsley, a lot of people don't even know that name. But if you say Ralphie from the Christmas Story, they're like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah, I know who Ralphie is. I didn't know who even played him. But like his autograph cards in that set are selling for like the same price of like a Larry Bird. And it's like, and it's because it's new and it's a card and it's pack pulled and it's got a photo and it's mixing pop culture with sports cards or with trading cards, as opposed to just pop culture and trading cards separately. It always tends to be like when you put those things together, it becomes more valuable because you have the trading card freaks that also like other things other than sports. And then that's like, oh, wow, it's the best of both worlds. But it's crazy that I see this going for that.
Are going to sell for tons of money.
Oh, yeah, the Cheers ones. We were saying we wish they had the Woody Harrelson in there, but some of them
they didn't get. But they got pretty much everybody else.
Especially like the duels. The dual autos will, just like in sports, will carry like premiums. Like if you can get two of your favorite characters together, like Cliff and Norm, or which they might.
The case incentive is the Cliff and Norm. It's not pack pulled.
Because I know even from the Christmas Story set that I just referenced, you can get the two bullies, Scott Fargus and Grover Dill, and they're on a dual autograph card. And I'm like, I don't even know those actors' names, and I'm seeing that dual autograph sell for like $200, and I'm like, I don't even know who the actors are. But the fact that it's Scott Fargus and Grover Dill from The Christmas Story, and whoever played them signed it, is, I don't know, it has a market, at least temporarily. And I want one, but I'm going to wait until it cools off. I'm going to try to be smart about it.
Timepiece. I would say most of what we're doing is sealed product for Pokemon, not some singles. I've got some singles that I'm going to get, but I mean, for the most part, it's sealed stuff. Goonies cards. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. And I don't even think it would need to necessarily be big characters. Obviously, if you have the Burbs, somebody mentioned the Burbs earlier, you've got Tom Hanks would be the big one. But even those kind of ancillary characters in that show, those would still be fun pulls, for people to get. I think.
You would see like the Goonies, Sean Astin, he has autographs in sets like the Lord of the Rings sets. He also has just the Leaf Pop Century and all that. But I mean, the Leaf Pop Centuries are like sticker autos, and it's an actual, this is the actor autograph, as opposed to when you cross it with the character that's iconic. So
Sean Astin's got Stranger Things autos.
Yeah, he's got Stranger Things autos also, yes. Yeah. But
there's that Parks and Rec set. They have autographs in that. Those things sell for a fortune.
Yeah, I know the Aubrey Plaza. I know her card used to be popular.
Where did Ham go? He just ghosted us? Oh, okay. Kelsey Grammer needs something positive in his life. That's fair.
Now, does Kelsey Grammer have anything in X-Men autographs?
Yeah, he has a Beast auto.
Okay, so I was just curious. Sometimes that's the thing, though. You never know which character. I'm going to guess a Kelsey Grammer as the psychiatrist, the guy from Cheers. He got a spinoff show. I can't even remember his name now. What was his character name in Cheers? Chad, help me out. These guys aren't helping me. Wasn't Crane? Frasier? What was it?
Yeah, Dr. Frasier Crane.
Frasier.
Literally got a whole show called Frasier for like 10 years.
That's what I said. I said he had a spinoff. I never watched it. I'm just saying he had a spinoff.
I never watched a spinoff either.
You think an auto card on a Frasier character would carry more value than his auto on the Beast?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Okay, that's what I mean. Like a lot of times, it matters the character that they've signed on.
Yeah, I mean, look at a Harrison Ford Leaf auto compared to Harrison Ford Han Solo auto.
Yeah, but the Leaf one is just Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford. It's not him as a character. But Kelsey Grammer as the Beast is a character, but Kelsey Grammer as Frasier is also a character. So it's kind of like, where is the bigger popularity in his character as the Beast or him as Frasier? Which Frasier is pretty much the role that made him famous. So probably more than likely that one.
Yeah, that wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, Office would be popular. Be good.
I saw a lot of people when the Fear set come out. That was one of the ones that people were like, the Office set would be.
Because there's so many characters.
Seinfeld, I think, were the two big ones.
Yeah, there's so many good characters there. Even the kind of the side characters, I think would be cool to have. I would collect the set. If I try to get autos for each, I think that'd be fun.
I feel like the Office would be more doable, just from like a star power standpoint. Like I couldn't imagine what like Jerry Seinfeld would probably charge them to sign a pack card. It would be astronomical.
You would know the answer to this also. It's Patrick Stewart that plays Professor X, right?
Yeah.
But he's also Captain Picard. So what cards? Where is he most popular?
His stuff's actually. It's a little bit more expensive on X-Men, I think, because he has less.
Okay.
But I think more people know him as Picard than Professor X. But he has way more Star Trek autos. The supply's way higher.
Okay.
I think that's more of a supply demand thing than a popularity thing. Though, he is pretty iconic for both roles. I have a Patrick Stewart Picard auto. It's in my case over there.
Yeah, I knew you had one. I just couldn't remember which character it was. It's the Hugh Jackman that you have on the Wolverine from the same set.
Yeah.
The
nice Patrick Stewart one I have is a Star Trek auto, not an X-Men auto.
Right. But he has one in that same set with the.
He does. I have a save search for it. The two big ones that I want from that are that and the Ian McKellen. as Magneto.
Yes.
That's another one. The Ian McKellen for Magneto goes for like $300 to $400. Ian
That's the one
McKellen
I have.
for Lord of the Rings is like $1,500.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if there was.
He has more Lord of the Rings autos than he has X-Men autos, but his Gandalf auto is way more expensive, like 4 times more expensive.
Yeah.
Than his X-Men auto. But that makes, I mean, well, he was Magneto in quite a few movies, but it's just a more memorable character as Gandalf.
Yeah, definitely. More loved character.
Yeah,
I'm going
I wouldn't
to.
mind putting that set together. I know Ben Burrows is working on that set too. That like 2000 tops auto set. I have some save searches for it. I wouldn't mind some stuff from that.
I am going to go to the GalaxyCon in Richmond. We went ahead and committed to that in March. I think it's in March, and William Shatner is going to be out there. Carrie Ells and some of those guys, Robin Hood, Men in Tights. There's actually some pretty good guests that are going to be out there. So that
I might try to go to that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll send it to you.
Well, I sent you all an image of the Alan Ginter card I made for the guy that plays the main character, Wesley, in whatever the movie's called, Princess Bride, which is the same guy you're talking about.
Carrie Ooze or Carrie what? I remember him. Like his favorite roles for me were from like Glory. He was in Glory with Matthew Broderick.
Glory is a bit character.
Yeah, he was really good in Glory. He was also like one of his last movies was like Saw, right? When he in the original Saw.
Yeah, he's in Stranger Things.
Yeah,
yeah. He was in a movie I think called Kiss the Girls also with Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd. Yeah, he was like a villain in that.
There's a lot of options out there. Hopefully, I just got the contact for the guy that runs Rittenhouse. I'm going to do an interview with him. Boys over at the Mike's Retro Trading Card channel hooked me up with. Make sure to check out those guys. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk to the Rittenhouse guy about what do you have, what else do you have in store, and how do we ramp this thing up? And do you need?
I'm sure they want to come on the pump the Cheers set, so it's probably a good timing.
Grim 77 says too bad. Ray Liotta
I don't think they like to do. I mean, I don't know if he's super excited to come on or anything. I don't think he does a whole lot of interviews. I don't think it was like the timing of the Cheers set. I think it was just like they're doing me a favor, basically.
I'm saying that's incentive for them though to want to get in front of a camera to promote the set.
Yeah, for sure. Card Vibe is bartending at an LPGA event in Orlando, and Kevin from The Office will be there.
To answer that Skeens question at that PSA right now.
Oh, okay.
It's in assembly. That card is flying.
Yeah, I've got 25 cards there, and it just like got there on the second, and they haven't checked it in yet.
My bulk order is not flying. Mine got there December 23rd, I think, and they're not even checked in yet. I think.
Oh, was that the Skeens one that you paid extra for?
Yeah, I said that as a 1-card regular service. I had to for the declared value. I would have got upcharged on that without even a question. So it made sense to send it at the higher tier to get it back fast. They just got it on Monday. It's already in assembly. So I should be getting it. Hopefully the grade pops anytime.
I'm in a current dilemma right now. I talked to Ham about this the other night too, but this reminded me. Grim 77 says, too bad Ray Liotta is gone. Goodfellas set would be great. But firsthand experience, I have a Robert De Niro redemption autograph from Topps Allen and Ginter from last year's set that's still at Topps waiting to be redeemed. And I'm going to, at this point, I'm probably guessing that De Niro is probably not honoring those autographs or he's probably not fulfilling them. So I'm kind of like, should I still wait it out or should I reach out to Topps and just get a replacement card? And I don't know how they replace it. What do you value Allen and Ginter on card De Niro auto out of 25 at? Like, I know what I paid for the redemption, but I'm scared that they'll send me like some bum AAA baseball player or something. And
you would think they would send you something non-sports.
I would hope, but there's not really anything out of the current Allen and Ginters that's very desirable. I mean, there's.
I mean,
in
it might
this
not be
year-
Allen Ginter. It might be like a Topps Chrome product or something. You don't know, but they have other
Maybe.
non-sport properties.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to do more Tops Now stuff non-sport related.
I mean, you could tell them to hook you up with a Star Wars auto. If they valued that at the same as a De Niro, you could probably get a pretty banger Star Wars auto out of that.
You know, I asked them at the National. I took the redemption there and was like, "Hey, do you guys have any updates on this?" And they were like, "No." And they were like, "But you can reach out to us and maybe we can work with you on a value on that." I mean, I have my eBay listing of when I bought it, how much I paid for it, but I don't know if they would be, I don't know if they're going to look at that and be like, "Okay, that's what you paid for it, so we at least want to give you that much." I really don't know. It's kind of like I'm gonna have to double check the expiration on the card and make sure I'm not running out of time. I did get my Panini redemption. That's the one I didn't think I was going to get.
You already redeemed the Topps redemption, right? The expiration date doesn't matter.
Oh, I have redeemed it. So the expiration
that
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. Then the date's irrelevant. And Topps is like 10 years on redemptions now.
Okay, so I can wait 8 more years.
What is it? The date is to redeem it by. Once it's
right. Yeah, what I'm
Right.
saying is they should have, I have a lot of time, basically.
Yeah, I would email them because you're probably right. He's probably not signing that.
Yeah, because if you take it to the National, the odds are they're going to give you like a black box or a white box or something equivalent to that.
Topps doesn't do that.
Well, they do. Well, I don't know. They give something out.
Well, I would sell one of those boxes off to a Breakers or something because I know people who redeem and get their black and white boxes from Panini and instantly sell them off.
Topps doesn't have a box program like that.
Yeah.
What would you guys put as the memorabilia if we had a quad patch auto card for off-centered? I think for me, it would be I would cut a little piece of the Alf hair and I would put it in the card with the signature. So it would be screen used Alf.
I could put a little piece of tinfoil from the tinfoil hat.
That's good. Yeah.
I'd cut up Daisy's purple harness that she wears or pieces of her leash because she's getting too chubby for it and it's getting too tight on her anyway. So yeah, you would get like Daisy worn harness. You guys have seen her wear that purple thing.
Ham, what about you?
I don't know. No idea. Like, I mean, I've
Fish
done
in
my
the
own
river,
before,
like
where I cut that's off the back of my old Allstott hat that just got too dirty to wear when I would fish. So I cut that out, and that was one of the cards I made it for myself.
Look at Ham posing with that fish. That's an old picture.
It's AI. It's AI.
That's old.
Yeah, I did one for one of my Bucks. One of my Bucks hats. I did one.
Look how young Ham is in that picture. Ham was like, "Man, I caught a fish. Let's start a YouTube channel."
I look exactly like that.
That was taken at the aquarium.
He's like, "Hey, man, can I hold
20
that?"
years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to come up with something. I don't know what would be the preferred type thing. I got plenty of stuff over here to cut up. So
Jeff's interview with a card show promoter. I didn't
watch that one. Was there something not taking it or something?
I only got through about half of it. Not that it was bad or anything. But I don't know. It wasn't grabbing me. I had something else going on, but I caught I think it was like Front Row Promotions or something.
Yeah,
but,
I saw the thumbnail. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, he did his today was kind of interesting. It was like 10xing. I don't know. It was like think bigger.
10x sports card investor.
Yeah, like how to think bigger. I need to think bigger. I don't know.
yeah, I saw a thumbnail. I just haven't watched it yet.
I watched part of that one while I was cooking dinner.
Yeah.
My favorite video of the week was the spitballing guys talking about Pokemon and watching and watching the blabbing about slapping guys just like doze off while Filmington and Scotty B went hard in the Pokemon talk.
So Brad, comeback card investor, he's like, "Hey, yeah, how's everything going? What are you up to?" And I said, "Ironically, I'm running the off-centered show right now." And he said, "I thought you said ruining. I'm assuming you meant to type that and autocorrect replaced it with running."
Well, I mean, both things can be true.
This is true.
What do you think when somebody when a company like prints a card and it's numbered fairly low? Let's just say 25 or even 10. How many of that card do you think they actually make? Just the 10 or the 25, and then they just don't dispense or put all of them out in packs because they always got to hold some back in case of someone getting a damaged card and sending it back to the company as a replacement. Do you think that they print 10 of them and then they hold 3 replacements, or do you think they put out 10 and then they have extras actually printed as their replacements and things like that? It's just something, a curious question I have.
I don't know. I feel like if it's obviously if it's an auto or a relic, I think that changes things quite a bit versus if it's just a straight numbered card. That if they felt like they wanted to replace it, they would literally just reprint that card with that serial number on it. I've seen that in the past where the serial number, someone will get the card back, they'll show it. The serial number is not the same as the original set of serial numbers because it was a replacement card. So I have seen them do that. But once you start getting that low number, they start getting real picky with what they want to do.
Right, because I'm just curious because I just got that Steiner brother, and I mentioned this in my video because I got that Steiner Brothers autograph back from Panini, and it's numbered out of 25. I haven't seen that card in a redemption form besides the one that I bought, and I've never seen it redeemed besides mine. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be some being redeemed now because obviously I got mine, so maybe other people are getting theirs. But in that case, how many of the 25 redemptions do you think are actually placed into packs? All 25? Or do you think they might have held back a handful of them in case?
In that redemptions, I bet you they do them all because they know that there's probably a certain percentage that are never going to surface before that expires.
Yeah.
Especially with Panini because they have a shorter expiration date window.
That and they've had the time to where expiration date's over. They'll use those cards as black box items, white box items, exchange for cards that they can't get another card of. They'll do stuff like that. I know usually when you call a rep for one of these Panini or Tops and like the situation you're in, you can kind of talk your way into stuff to see what they'll offer you because they'll give you more than what it's usually worth, especially Tops. So it may be 3 cards. Yeah. So, I mean, they have extra cards sitting around that are autographed and stuff like that are made for those purposes. So they do exist.
Do you think they
just Mark Hamill auto to replace your?
Have you seen the one that's listed on eBay or the 2017 Stellar on card?
His Stellar sticker. It's not on card.
Hold on, let me look. I haven't.
Him and Carrie Fisher are both sticker autos.
Maybe
they're the only two. They're the only sticker autos in the entire series run. Oh, actually, there's one other.
So Rich, I've seen it mainly in hockey, where people build out the patch on a uniform. I have seen that where they have to go get, let's say, all of the what's the big upper deck, the cup, for instance. They'll go there. There'll be 20 pieces of jersey, and they'll literally buy somehow and source all 20 pieces to make that whole jersey. It's rare, but it does happen.
Good call, Neo. That is a sticker.
Yep.
Like if you zoom in on it, you can really see it in the picture, but the regular picture, you can't really see it. It's an awesome looking card. It's a shame it's a sticker, though.
Him and Carrie Fisher are the only 2 big ones that I don't own from that entire set.
Ham, what are you excited about for sports cards in 2025 since me, Neo, and Steve are so deep into pop culture cards?
I'm excited for sports too.
Yeah, there's sports cards, but yeah, there's certainly.
I don't know if I'm really excited about anything, really. It's just I'm waiting for something to change to make it more appealing.
Now, is it new? Are you talking about new product?
Yeah, new product, for instance. I mean, everything else is. I'm always looking for older stuff. It just doesn't pop up. It really doesn't. And if it does, somebody puts an astronomical number on it and nobody touches it. And then they relist it again and nobody touches it. And it's like they just play a game forever and you just got to wait till they get tired of it or it just disappears. And then you don't even have an opportunity at it. But like it's to the point now I'm looking for stuff that if I see it and if I feel like I'm not going to see it again and it's within a range, I'll buy it without a problem because I know that if I value it at that, somebody else values it probably more than even me because I'm a little cheap on that stuff. But I'll go out of my way for certain things to be like, you know, I've been the idiot on eBay. They'll be like, cards worth $300, $1,000. You're just not going to beat me. Like you can play the game all you want. You're just not going to beat me because I know I'm not going to see that card again. And if I do, it's going to be a very, very long time. It gets me. I get always confused. Like how can some of these cards that are numbered to 99 that are older never surface? Like everything's in a collection. Like it just boggles my mind how many people still haven't even looked back at their collections and or cards and don't even know they have anything right now. Like it's still sitting in a closet somewhere, still in a binder. Somebody inherited it. They don't know anything about it. They've never bothered to mess with it. Like there's a lot more of that out there than we even know. because all this stuff's been printed forever, and it's been printed a lot. But for the new stuff, they got to change it. I mean, the Tops Now stuff now, it looks cool, but it's like everything's a 1-on-1 half the time, or a 25, and like I got to spend $90 to get 10 of something to have a chance, which I mean, it's the same as buying two blasters at this point sometimes. You're just hoping to get
single card. You don't have to buy a pack.
Yeah. And I'm just waiting for a new wave of stuff to kind of hit. I'm glad that Topps now has a WWE product. That looks really good. I didn't see any stickers on it, which already makes, because like this release of, was it National Treasures Wrestling that's out now? It's all sticker autos.
It's
I
garbage,
don't even
but
want to
the Walls product's nice.
Yeah, but it's like I don't want to get into the sticker autos. Because if I go a year backwards, I can get an on-card auto of the same guy.
That was one of the things, like when I talked in my video the other day about Panini putting out sticker autos with checklists loaded of a bunch of bums in $5,000 boxes, because that's one of the things I was actually thinking of without saying it, was the WWE National Treasures is loaded with sticker autos and like tag team wrestlers and NXT wrestlers. I haven't bought any of it myself. I've just seen some breaks. I watch Run Good Life. I don't participate in his breaks, but sometimes I watch some of his breaks, and he does a lot of wrestling. And it's funny because Dustin asked, what are we looking for in sports cards? I'm really looking to get back into collecting something where I can get nice cards, inexpensive. And I know that kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but it's kind of like, I remember back when I used to collect Ken Caminiti. I really liked him as a player, and I was able to get like his press proofs and his refractors and things like that, like dirt cheap in comparison to baseball superstars of the day. Because at the same time, I also collected Tony Gwynn and Cal Ripken Jr. Those are my other two favorite players. But there was always a players that I like to collect that was cheaper than the others, because I could get the really high-end premium stuff, legacy collections and stuff like that. In football, it was always like I collected Keyshawn Johnson and Marvin Harrison, and then I had and of course, Dan Marino, but I was always able to get like Marvin Harrison stuff like really cheap. And I don't know why. I just liked him as a player at the time. But I'm trying to look for that now. And I'm trying to find like a sports personality or an entertainment personality where I can get gold prisms and, the blue shimmers and, all the really nice high-end color, but I can get it cheap on a player or a person that I like. One person that I've really looked at lately that I was a huge fan of back in the day was like Kurt Angle. Like when I used to watch WWE, like Kurt Angle was my dude, right?
Steve.
I loved Kurt Angle. So it's kind of like, Kurt Angle is one of the cheap, WWE cards that you can get. He's not as expensive as your big superstars, and you can buy some of his cards really nice. Like I just had somebody offer me an immaculate on-card auto numbered out of 25 on eBay for $30. And I'm like,
yeah, they're super cheap.
I'm like, now he signs tons of stuff, and I haven't accepted that offer, but because I do want it to be more rare type, cool looking cards, and it's just going to be my PC, and it's not going to be like I'm collecting these for future value. My other PC that I have, which is the vintage stuff, I am collecting to put away for another day, right? But I just want some cool cards that I can buy cheap, get them out and look at them, enjoy the personality, whether it's a sports player or not on the card, and build a big collection that's cheap, because nowadays it's really hard to build a cheap collection of nice cards. And get more of the big time collector mentality back in it, where I'm actually like hunting for something. And then when I find it, I don't have to sell off a bunch of my other stuff to get it. I just find it. I'm like, oh man, I've been looking for that card forever, and it's only $25. Awesome. You know what I mean?
Steve.
Dustin, you're kind of down that road a little bit with some of your Saint stuff.
Oh yeah.
You do got to pay. You got to pay a little bit more probably for Drew Brees. I mean, he is.
Your boy's
going to be there.
It's gonna be a Galaxy concert. That's a done deal.
In Richmond? Oh no, I might.
That's a done deal.
Be more than $25.
That is a done deal. He's gonna be.
I was gonna say, because you guys a couple weekends ago, remember I told you I was having a buddy come visit that I hadn't seen in like 20 years. We were like best friends, and we hadn't seen each other personally in like 20 years. Well, he came to the house and stayed a couple nights a couple weeks ago, and he lives not far. He lives in Northern Virginia. and I want to go over and visit him now. And he's really into now. GalaxyCon, I'm guessing, is going to have some Star Wars stuff, right? Galaxy, I hope. I don't know. I don't even know what a GalaxyCon is. I'm just guessing. Maybe
GalaxyCon's like the name of the company that run conventions all over the country.
Okay, so I just, being I'm dumb to the title, so I'm dumb to the name. I just took it for face
They
value.
usually have Star Wars actors. Like they were in Columbus, Ohio, right before Christmas, and they had Hayden Christensen and Natasha
they don't have any big names this time. They've got the one guy that plays the bad guy that's got like the black saber in Mandalorian, the bad guy, like the main
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, I think he's there. I'll
he's
check.
Breaking Bad too, isn't he? Too. I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff.
He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
The new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's
the boys.
He's a pretty decent deal. That's a good drive.
Bill Shatner's going to be there. There's some names, and I noticed too they're adding more now. Like it seems like maybe it was a little slow during the holidays, but now it's starting. Like the guest list is starting to pick up a little bit.
Rich Deco, Tom Petty has an old, like it's maybe a 78 or 79 rookie card that's in like a punk rock set. Billy Idol is also in that set, but Billy Idol's with his band at the time. I can't even remember the name. I don't know why I can't remember the names. I'm a music person. But there's a set, late 70s set. I could look it up for you real quick if I get a second. But there's a Tom Petty rookie card, or what would be called his rookie card out there. There's other Tom Petty cards out there, but if you're looking for like his first card,
that would
it's
be
not. Yeah, it would be it.
Card Vibe. I'm not going to the Orlando show. I got the St. Pete show this weekend. I haven't been over to that show that you're speaking of, the Nona show, but I'll look into it. Yeah, Panini's up in all their autos for sure.
What's the next card show everybody's going to?
St. Pete show this week, and then Clearwater show the next week.
Shows, but
yeah,
it's the 1977 Monty Gum, but it's fairly pricey. Like even if you buy it raw, it's going to cost you $100.
I'd like to go to a Dallas show. I think the Dallas show's the end of January, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's next week. It's the middle of the month.
Okay, we need to ask if somebody, like what Kenny said, it never hurts to ask. We need to ask if some of these places will fly us out and all that. Honestly, part of the problem though is just taking time off and going, like flying somewhere and doing it. Like,
you get a Dallas show, you take one day off, you just go for like a Friday, Saturday, come back on a Sunday.
Yeah,
they were all talking about how crazy the Dallas show is going to be because a ton of the Tampa guys go over there.
When I was talking to Dr. Beckett a few days ago, he was saying that because I just remember it being so slammed when we were there May of 2021. Were you there, Ham? I didn't meet you until.
I've never been to a Dallas show.
That first Dallas show.
That first Dallas show is slammed. He was saying that now there's like more rooms and like it's bigger. So
yeah, it's probably gotten larger from a square footage standpoint, but I don't know if as far as the amount of people that attend it now.
Yeah, Roth was like, if you go there and you want to buy, you got to go there with no less than 10K cash, and then as many good cards as you can, because the amount of other good cards you can see to swap and trade and people willing to deal for different things, it's just everybody just says Dallas is the best show for moving anything.
I bet you that Dallas show in January is going to be loaded with freaking Pokemon.
Oh, it has to be.
It's taken over.
Does Pokemon have like a national type show?
Yeah, they have well, they don't have a single one,
okay.
I don't think anyway, but they have collecticons.
Should we make one?
It's like GalaxyCon. They travel around from town to town.
Should we create one? Because it sounds like there's money involved.
Yes, Michael's
sure
correct. We got the Veriswap discussion going. Sorry.
I don't know if Gene's in the chat or not. He sets up at all the collecticons around the country. He travels around.
I'm just kidding. Pokemon's getting to the point where it could almost have its own show.
I think there's one in Raleigh. There's one in North Carolina somewhere.
Which one?
Collecticon.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a non-sports card show coming up for the first time. Hold on, I'll pull this up real quick.
Philly has one
time. When I was at Philly, they had a dedicated section for all the non-sports dealers. Like if you were 100% non-sports or mostly non-sports, they put them all together, which I actually thought was kind of nice.
So they mixed it.
They go to the restroom. You guys keep it going. I'll be right back.
Because I know Philly sometimes has a separate entire show. for just
Yeah, they
non-sports.
still do that.
One
I'm
was
talking
10.
like at the main Philly show, not the
Okay.
non-sports show.
Michael Stone's correct about the Veriswap. You guys talking about Veriswap and things like that. Veriswap middleman's the deal. So both cards go to Veriswap first. They look at the two cards and they repackage them and send them out. So Veriswap, whoever has the complaint against Veriswap or about the trade they made on Veriswap.
I know what Veriswap is. I just don't use it.
Right. So either Veriswap overlooked that and didn't see it, or it looked good when Veriswap got it, and in transit from Veriswap to you, it got that slab damage.
Why won't BGS? I'm asking William. Why won't BGS reslab it? That seems odd.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if it was a very noticeable crack, I'm going to guess that happened in transit from Veriswap to you, because I don't think Veriswap would have honored that trade going through as a middleman that's supposed to be looking at that kind of stuff. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know their ins and outs. I've done a couple deals with them, and I know that sometimes it's a little timely on when you can get your items, because it's kind of like going through eBay authenticity, where it ships from the buyer or from the seller to eBay authenticity and then to the buyer. So they have to get both cards in hand from each participant in the trade, or in sale, they also sell, but in the trade, they have to inspect them, send them, package them.
He said he found it in the listing photo. He just missed, like they missed it.
I
don't understand why Beckett won't reslab it, though. That doesn't make sense.
They might say that they might not reslab it at the same grade. They might say it's a regrade, because sometimes they'll say if the damage on the slab could have possible.
I would think a crack that you would notice.
But what I'm saying is Beckett says, basically any company says,
if they're cracking the card, there's a shot it could get regraded.
Oh, you mean my question is he trying to send it to Beckett just to get it reslabbed at the same grade that's on it? Because if it's a damaged slab,
sent it to Beckett to get reslabbed, but Beckett refused to.
But he might have put a min grade on it. Did you put a min grade on? Did you say, hey, I want it to be graded at what I'm? So if you bought the card in a 9, did you say, hey, I want it to be a 9? Put a slab on this that's a 9, because then they would have to regrade it. They might look at the slab and be like, the slab could have caused damage to the card, so now this is going to be a regrade. Usually if it's some superficial scratch, or if it's a crack that's not in the card area or something like that, they'll just reslab it they'll look at the grade that's on it. They won't even regrade it. They just reslab it, relabel it, send it back to you. But if it's an actual damaged cracked slab, then they're going to be like, okay, did this cause any damage to the card? Because we're not going to reslab it at the same grade. We're going to have to evaluate it again.
Well, didn't that happen a year at that one card? Didn't you want to get something reholdered at the National, and they were like, don't do it?
Well, yeah, I said to them.
It was an auto, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had a Dale Earnhardt Upper Deck auto.
Yeah, the sign of the times. That's right.
And it didn't have an auto grade on it. When I bought it, it was a BGS 9 with no auto grade. In fact, the slab was so old that I think it might have been before they were even grading autos on cards. So I took it there in person at the National and said, look, I want to have the auto grade added to this. I don't want you to reevaluate the card. I just want you to slap the 9 back on the card and evaluate the autograph for me. And they were like, we can't do that. We're going to have to regrade the card because it could have gotten damaged over time in the slab. And I'm like, well, it's a perfect slab. So by that argument, you're telling me that your slab isn't protecting my card. Or you doubt that your slab is protecting my card if you're going to have to reevaluate it and it's a perfect condition. So I just went the autograph grade, and they were like, yeah, but because we got to send it to BAS, because they're going to do because we got to, not only do we got to grade the autograph, we got to authenticate it, because even though it is pack pulled from a certain year, they also require you to authenticate it. I don't know. I ended up just sending it to SGC and getting the auto grade, and they graded it a 9, just like Beckett did. They graded the auto a 10. It looks better in the SGC slab anyway, because it's black and white, and the car and Dale Earnhardt's colors were black and white. He's even in a black and white uniform, so I'm happy with what I ended up getting out of it. That was when Beckett sent my cards to the wrong address the first time. Then they did it again.
And we wonder why they dropped 15% year over year.
Yeah, Clearwater, we have a non-sports card show popping up for the first time, it's put on by the same guys that run the regular Clearwater show for sports cards, but they're now doing a non-sport show where it's Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, video games, toys, stuff like that. So that's going to be real interesting to see for the first time. It's February 1st and 2nd at the Banquet Masters here in Tampa or
I
Clearwater.
wouldn't be surprised if we see more stuff like that this year, like smaller local shows that are non-sport oriented than versus sports cards.
Yeah, I just see a trend of just there's too many other things you can still make money on that aren't even really tapped yet at all. I just do any of these big companies move into that space is really what it comes down to, because you can sell the same stuff over and over again if you have an audience that already enjoys it. You just have to create it.
Butthead cards.
I've seen the Beavis cards before.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Beavis cards is
What Beavis and Butthead cards?
No, we're talking about Beavis cards. Actually, is a person that comes in the chat sometimes.
Yep.
Now
earlier at 10:38, Rich there, he said, "Would you guys like to give your elevator pitch about what each of you do in the hobby?" So I'm assuming he's just newer to the chat here. It's 10:38.
What you each do in the hobby.
I'm looking for it.
Oh, it's
So
right.
if it's related to the channel, main thing I do now is go to card shows and what I call slow roll cases or cards in cases, and I just try to find unique, different, big cards, special cards, and then try and show those on camera where you can actually see the physical card versus a blur of somebody just moving past it. And I try to give a little info to that card. That's the main thing I do now. Every once in a while I chat, but other than that, that's the main thing I do right now.
I'm a full-time Pokemon investor.
On that stack next to you and behind
I'm
you.
also a brand.
UPS came right before the show started, so
I'm also a brand new full-time Pokemon investor. Yes, that's.
Oh, I got to get back to Dustin about something actually. Yeah, I like to buy raw cards, grade them, flip them, use that money to fund my PC, at least on my higher end. I like to buy one blue chip, maybe two blue chip vintage cards a year, put them away in, low to mid grade, put them away to stash. And I really like to collect less expensive pop culture stuff that relates to my childhood or music. I'm a big music buff. And I put out a video once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks. I mean,
like once a quarter.
And they involve basically what I do in the hobby. Like I don't talk about a lot of extra stuff. It's just kind of like me, my day, my life. Right now, it's about trying to get healthy, going to the gym, talking about sports cards, hanging out with my dog, playing some music, whatever. Just chill. It's not all diehard hobby, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, any trash talk? You and Ham haven't really gotten into it this
No. Well, see, because it's been a while, right? So we're playing nice tonight. But me and Ham we don't really get into it at the end. But
Stephen Giles, he didn't realize what he did when he said that the untapped market of Michael Jackson cards with John Reckoning somewhere lingering. I know John Reckoning is somewhere in the shadows.
I'll tell you, there's certain names you say it's like rubbing a genie lamp. They get a message somehow on their phone that says they're talking about me.
I have
Michael Jackson tag.
I do have a story for Steven. Hey, Michael Jackson cards. I have a couple. I have some Taylor Swift cards that somebody sent me to sell for the national giveaway last year, but I saved them for this year because I had already raised some money. I don't really know what to do with them because they're kind of like raw and I don't know the values on them, but they sent me like a care package and they were like, hey, if you can move any of this stuff for the national giveaway, then go ahead and do it. And I kind of like put it off to this year because it was kind of like coming down to last minute to where if I did want to get them snagged or anything like that. No, it was last minute. Like I didn't have time to get them to the grading companies and back before the national giveaway was going to happen.
Are they in a shoebox under your bed?
No, they're still in the mailbox that they sent them to me in. I honestly haven't even opened them all yet. Opened it all and gone through it all. Stephen Giles has a card or a question that says, "How many precious cards has your dog eaten?" I do have something to say later.
My dog's not allowed up the stairs, so I don't have to worry about that. We have a whole gate. We have a gate on the stairwell on the bottom floor, and so she's not, and she doesn't try us like that. She doesn't try to hop it or anything. So we're good.
My dog doesn't care.
Well, because you allow her not to care, Mike. Parenting. Come on.
My dog just wants treats to be pet, and that's about it.
Card Vibe wants to know recent pickups. Neo question mark.
The last big card I bought was the Gandolfini auto.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
And Beta Counterspell. That's sitting on my desk right here. That's about it.
I don't.
Why are our names on screen right now? Because there's a comment up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You just noticed that, Steve? Like
somebody said your names aren't on the screen anymore. So I was just like,
oh yeah.
Because I think they're trying to get our contacts. Mine's just Flipping Steve on YouTube or on Instagram. I kept it easy. Like Michael Hamfit. God, that's a lot to type out.
So I can't afford. I got in. This is really funny. I got in maybe like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. I texted with Neo and I'm like, hey, I just bought my first booster boxes. And then he responded back, now I know that we're at the top of the pricing. It's
between
like
you and then the spitballing guys dropping a Pokemon video. I'm like,
me and Philmington are. I've never texted this much with Phil in my entire life. Like we are like literally not sleeping. We are just studying it, learning it, trying to figure it all out.
What's there to study and learn? It comes out, you buy it. It comes out, you buy it.
They're trying to play catch up.
Oh Lord,
they're fake Pokemon investors.
There's no catching up. You can't catch up. The goal is to get out in front of it, and all you can do is grab it as soon as you see it.
They're the FOMO buyers. They're the people that were buying PSA 10 base Lucas for $5,000 in February 2021.
So Dustin, are you looking at getting an Umbreon VMAX alternate art?
He doesn't know what that is.
No. No,
what
that's
set is that from?
I do know. That's out of Evolving Skies.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
Look,
it was Evolving Skies.
A lot. I'm on a crash course. I've learned a hell of a lot in the last 10 days.
Okay, so when was Evolving Skies released, and how long did they print?
I didn't say I'm like I'm not like a Pokemon.
You're trying to figure out what you want to target, though. You got to know these things.
I've got certain sets that I'm targeting. I've got booster boxes. Vivid Voltage are the ones I can afford right now, and then Scarlet.
I remember those would just sit on the shelf every single day for a week, and they'd restock, and they couldn't find enough space to put new ones out.
And Scarlet Violet, I've gotten some of that. Same story with that too. So I'm not buying. I'm not going in and dropping $1,000 on Evolving Skies booster.
Yeah, we're still getting 151 dropping at Targets and Walmarts locally. But there's a line of people waiting for them. We got moms now waiting for them. They're already all talking about the new release coming out. So it's going to just be a nightmare. We're going back to the pandemic days of lines of people sharing and pieces of paper saying you can only have one and stuff like that again.
There's a boatload of 151 sitting right there.
Yep. Yeah, we usually get like a case and a half of ETBs and then a bunch of boosters and stuff that pop out.
For what, Pokemon?
Yep.
All of my Pokemon journey is on Collectibles Dad. Collectibles Dad YouTube channel is where.
So if I see like Pokemon at like Walmart, I should buy it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Really?
Look at all that. Look at all that glorious 151.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some stuff that doesn't do great. That's why it's sitting there if everything else is gone. Neo, at what point do you think like the Power Cube boxes start to take a little bit more of a jump up, being that you can get older packs out of them?
It just depends on what the pack price does. That's what at this point, and what the pack.
I have some older ones where you could actually pull like first gen packs that I've just been sitting on forever.
It's on the second channel, Chris. Collectibles Dad.
Collectibles. I thought that was your comic book channel.
Switched it. Comic book YouTube's
Pokemon,
lame.
no, I'm coming out with a Pokemon channel.
There's a handful of cool people. Manu99 is in the chat. There's a handful of cool people, but a lot of it's just lame-os. It's very lame. So
let's predict now what will get hot in 6 months, and then 9 months from now, Dustin will rebrand that champion.
Well, Chris asked us earlier what our Super Bowl picks were, like who we thought was going to go, and we skipped by that comment. I think we were talking with Kenny.
What time?
It was a long time ago, but he's still here. So we
a chat comment from like 7:30.
I've done pretty well with chat tonight. I've been getting compliments about
Well,
my chat.
when Kenny was on, we kind of were like, just
There he is.
by.
Like I said, there's a handful of cool guys in it, and then there's a bunch
Ham.
of dopes. There's a bunch of dopes. So sorry. It's just boring. Honestly, no. And Manu he probably would agree with me. A lot of the top 10, top 5, the books and all that, it's the same damn thing every time. I'm literally watching like pulse of the comic book market, whether you're talking about Silver Age or Bronze or whatever it is. It's like, it's the same damn thing. It's like, at least with cards, there's just tons of different sets, tons of different cards. Comic books, I love comic books. I'm still going to buy comic books, but man,
I just think comic books
really
hit a wall.
I'm going
for a wall,
but it's just, God, the content is like, ugh, it's not great. So it's just not my thing. It's not my thing. I tried it out. It's fun. I still buy key comic books, but yeah, it's now Pokies. It's all about the Pokies.
I'll give you mine real quick, Chris. Ravens and Lions. It's going to be me.
That'd be pretty decent.
I have a feeling that the Eagles are going to go. I don't know why.
If the Eagles have to face us, they're not getting through us.
Tampa Bay fan.
As Jalen
listen, we beat the Lions earlier. We've shut the Eagles down for years. Like I don't want to play the Rams more than anybody, to be honest with you, because they're the ones.
Yeah, the Rams are tough. Yeah, the Rams are tough.
If Puka's good, I ain't got no answer for him on my team right now. I can put 3 guys on him. I'm screwed.
Plus, the Rams, they kind of have nothing to lose. Like nobody's really they're kind of counted out, and they've been there before. You know, I mean, Stafford's already been there and done that, and McVay has. I mean, they're dangerous. I think that they're the most dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like
the AFC, I think, is the one that's the most up for, that it could be any of 3 teams, just based on the matchup and where they end up. But the
did
NFC,
this happen? Did this definitely happen, this move, or have they not called it yet?
I saw that was not for sure.
Let's see.
I think that's their backup plan.
I'm pulling for the Lions. I'm just worried that like they're so beat up on defense. Their best 2 pass rushers are out. And then they also got a guy hurt against the Vikings in their secondary. I can't remember his name, but I mean,
but they handled a good Minnesota team the other night. Like I thought,
I agree.
Win that game, and they're home, right?
I agree. I just don't playoff football. Weird shit happens, and those injuries I think are gonna. And look, I'm going for the Lions. That's the team that I want to win. I've got a bunch of buddies that are Lions fans. It's like the Saints, they're like the Saints. Like
I kind of think that the Lions are the best NFC team or the most likely to make it to the Super Bowl, but I think that there's at least 3 teams in the AFC that are better.
Oh, correct. Totally. I think the AFC is stronger.
Yeah, it is.
And no, William, I don't think that if Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl this year, that it makes him a Hall of Famer. He still has a lot of work to do. And when you talk about guys like Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers questionably being Hall of Fame inductees, they don't have the body. Even if Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, he don't have the body of work of those guys. And we're really questioning whether or not those guys should be in the Hall of Fame or not, right? So, he still has a lot of career left. He was drafted in 2016. So, was he played half of his career?
Today they play for a while. So,
Colorado. The answer to this is we kind of do all of it. We've got pop culture, we got actor autos, we've got Pokemon stuff, we've got tons of sports cards, we've got comic books. So just enjoy all the stuff. Yeah,
it's basically because of our ages. Really is why. Because if we were all 25 years old, we wouldn't have any of that crap.
Yeah, with me, I'm not on the Pokemon.
What? Shout out to Yamwax.
Earlier.
Wow.
Holy smokes!
Any Fornas and Yamwax in the same night?
We should have Brad. Yeah, Brad. I should see if Brad can log in and come and join the chat. We had Kenny. We got Yamwax. We got all sorts of just all timers.
Bazooka Tom,
HTC 10 Elon Musk card from Yamwax in my box behind.
Yeah, I have that too. I still have mine too.
I have that. I have that as well. Is the NFT worth like $1 million now?
I should look. Can we retire now? I forgot about that. There's an NFT attached to that.
Damn.
Anybody listed?
It was like the most thought out giveaway anyone has ever done in the history of YouTube. Like, I know, they were numbered, and each number was specific to the person that it went to.
This is the one thing I can't do, Bob. I feel like, honestly, Funko Pops are Beanie Babies for me. And I know some people hate
Give
that.
Dustin about 5 years, he'll make a Funko Pop.
I know.
And I love it. Dude, I've I'm all about like, action figures, and hell, I'm going to have Alex Winter is going to be on next week. Watch next week. Actually, Yamwax will probably enjoy that too. So Alex Winter over at Hakes Auction is going to come on, and he's got a whole Jeff Jacob collection that they're auctioning off. It's all Star Wars and Thundercats and all that good stuff. So, dude, I'm all about it. I just cannot get into Funko Pops. I can't do it.
I just get the Funko Pops of stuff that I really like. I don't buy them for any kind of value. Like I have the Soundgarden set and the Pearl Jam set and an Eddie Van Halen up here on my shelf. But that's kind of like I don't buy them for value later.
The ones I think are cool actually are like there's Scream ones that are signed by like the Scream movie actors. Like okay, that's kind of a cool little collectible. Yeah. But yeah, to buy, to hold for value, no.
Let's pull up USA cards. What do we think happens to the Mahomes market if the Chiefs three-peat?
I think absolutely nothing.
I don't think so either.
The card prices
if they three-peat, I do think they get a little bump because that just is. I mean, he's solidified. I think.
But he's already solidified.
He's a Hall of Famer right now. So
he is.
You might say everything's
exactly.
He's already solidified, and the spec money is already there. It's already like built in.
With his body of work already, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, I would say. If Patrick Mahomes didn't play another game, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So at this point, it's kind of like, is he chasing Brady? So does
I think that's where it becomes.
But that's what I'm saying. Does a fourth Super Bowl victory make people feel so safe that he's going to catch Brady that then they start investing into his market? Or do you wait till he gets to 5 or 6 and now you're like saying, oh, well, this actually is a possibility. Maybe now. I think that's when you start looking at a little bit of a needle mover. But even still, once someone retires, we see this. Tom Brady, case in point. When you're no longer the superstar on the field, your market dwindles.
His market hit a floor, but it's already been at the floor for a minute. It's not going any farther down, and there's been some newer stuff that's come out of him that outsells some of his older stuff.
Who are you talking about?
Brady.
We don't listen to what you have to say about Brady because he played for the Bucs and you're
biased.
Whoa!
Shots fired. There we go.
He played for the Bucs and he's biased. You see how defensive he got? You see how quickly defensive he got about Tom Brady? So I can't take anything that you say.
I'm just telling you, I don't even have a Tom Brady autograph. I'd love to have one. But if I had one, I would rather have one of him in a Patriots uniform than a Bucs uniform because that's what he's known for.
What?
Bird's the word, baby. You heard.
No, you would. Tom Brady's got a place
in the back room for. He needs a timeout.
I don't need a timeout. What are you talking about? I just got you to start talking. What are you talking about?
Oh man,
what did Yamwax say back there? He said something about the card that he had just got. Like 10-50 something.
Just to touch up on the back end of USA Cards comment because he follows it up down here with what if it goes the other way and they don't win another Super Bowl. I don't think a Super Bowl is automatically baked in this year because AFC is very competitive. Bazooka Tom made a comment earlier about Lamar Jackson always chokes, and I kind of believe that because he does, that this might be the year that Lamar Jackson gets over the hump. This has been his best statistical year, right? Another MVP candidate year again. Can he get it done in the playoffs? Well, this year, Derrick Henry has made a world of difference for that team. So, I look for them to lean on him. It doesn't necessarily have to be all Lamar Jackson. But, and if they do get bounced, I wouldn't be surprised either because, like you said, Lamar Jackson has choked. But I just think the Ravens are clicking. But I don't think another Super Bowl is automatically baked in. I don't think people are thinking right now that Patrick Mahomes is winning another Super Bowl. Let's buy his cards. I just think he's kind of in a
what's weird about him
flow right now.
So let's say he wins again this year and he won last year. But the thing that's strange, the paradox, or I guess the thing that's so strange about him is he lit the league on fire statistically his first 5 years in the league. I mean, like, he was like Michael Jordan of football. If you really look at what he was doing, slinging it around, and he's played really average ball. He didn't even make the Pro Bowl this year, given Lamar and Josh Allen and, all the, I almost said Carson Palmer because I was in the chat earlier, Joe Burrow. He didn't even make the Pro Bowl. This guy hasn't really played like elite football in 18 months. If you go back and really watch, I'm not saying he doesn't make plays sometimes. I'm not saying he doesn't make key throws when he needs to. he does a lot. Honestly, the thing I'm really sick and tired of, Baker Mayfield did it to us last week, is these quarterback scrambles for 20 yards. Like a defense can't stop a quarterback from running. If it's Lamar Jackson, I can understand. When it's Baker Mayfield's goofy ass running 20 yards down the field, and granted, I know my Saints defense isn't very good, but if I see that in the playoffs, I'm going to like, it's just like, what the hell are we doing? I mean, anyway, Mahomes has not played good like really elite ball in 18 months. And so that's kind of a weird thing. So if this guy has 5 titles, but he's just not like, but his defense is elite and the team is just good, then what does that mean? Because Tom Brady never, I mean, I can't remember a season where he played just kind of like blah and the team won the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We like you talk about Patrick Mahomes saying that he's just playing mediocre football right now, but he's playing mediocre football to Patrick Mahomes standards.
Yeah.
So because he set the bar so high for himself, anything that's not as good as the year before,
I don't think he has.
it looks like a bad season, but that's kind of like a double-edged sword there because he's been so great that when he's not so great, he's bad as opposed to good.
And I'm not saying he's bad, but think about how the hobby is, and think about like how reactionary they are to like electric play. Think about whether it be Michael Jordan in his, and when he was playing, or Josh Allen right now is pretty electric. Like he's running, he's running and scoring, he's throwing and scoring. Lamar Jackson is similar.
Well, when you compare him to Brady, though, the thing about Brady is that he didn't have huge statistical seasons until Randy Moss and such were there. Like his first couple Super Bowls, he was a good quarterback, but he wasn't blowing up the stat sheets.
Yeah, that's fair. He had better teams early on,
and Brady actually became more of a passer as his career progressed.
Mm-hmm.
But
and he got the right guys. I don't think Mahomes has the right guys right now.
But the same thing that both of them have in common is that they win or they make the throw when they need to make the throw. They have that clutch factor built in. They have that winning, whatever it is that makes them win, built in that a lot of players may not have, whether it's their competitive level. I don't know what it is, but
I mean, I've never seen the 15-1 Chiefs, or are they 15-2 now? I saw some stat where like they haven't scored 30 points all season. I mean, so that tells you that the defense is really good, and or just shit has bounced their way a lot. So, I mean, football is kind of a game of, the ball bouncing.
They do have the refs helping them out.
I was waiting for you to say that, Ham.
They should have lost that game against us. So
I mean, ultimately, you ask yourself this question: like, if the Super Bowl was on the line and you had to have one quarterback to go down and drive and win the game for you right now, Patrick Mahomes is in the discussion. He may not be the guy that you pick at the top of your list, but he's probably in the top 3 discussion.
Oh,
which regardless of what his stats look like this season, whether it's off for him, whether it's off in comparison to all the other quarterbacks, a down statistical year, at the end of the day, when you need to win the game, he's going to be one of the 3 quarterbacks that you pick that you want to put the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it was the same with Brady too. There was a lot of playoff games where miraculous shit happened at the end of games. And I'm not just talking about Super Bowls or anything. I'm talking about just like AFC Championship or divisional playoff. He had a lot of breaks as well.
Well, if you're starting your team right now in the NFL and you get to choose any quarterback in the league, do you start with Mahomes or are you picking somebody else?
It would have to be Mahomes, just based on the clutch factor and what he's already done. I would take Mahomes.
Yeah, I think the only other argument would be Josh Allen. Like, I think it's one of those two, but it would probably be Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, Josh Allen has been a turnover.
What's funny is Lamar Jackson's the MVP and he's not in the conversation, at least at the top 2.
Because he never proved it.
Lamar Jackson, you said? Well, that's because like the comment earlier that Bazooka Tom made was that Lamar Jackson kind of chokes in the big games, whether it's all him or it's his team, because football is the consummate team game. But he hasn't done it yet, right?
I guess
until you win the big game, you haven't done it yet.
Yeah. We'll see. It'll be there's some great teams this year. I kind of like it because it's not as if you have a couple of teams that are, head and shoulders above the rest. You've got a variety of good teams on both sides.
Yeah, you're not.
A lot of people in the comments
gave me.
Lots of people in the comments, or a couple people in the comments, are saying Burrow. Like Grim says Burrow all day. Crazy Kev says Burrow. I mean, give Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to Patrick Mahomes. All right.
My God, yeah.
Burrow's a good quarterback, but it's not like he's throwing to bums.
Yeah. Does Tyreek Hill go back to the Chiefs? Because he's leaving Miami.
Oh, I don't know.
I know somebody said something.
Yeah, he's going back. That was the joke, is he's going back to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
which would
somebody said something. Does Hollywood Brown make the difference for the Chiefs? And he could, but not long term. He could be a flash in the pan type thing. They get on the same page right away. But I haven't seen enough out of him to make me think he's going to be great on his own.
Who?
Hollywood Brown.
Oh, Hollywood Brown.
I would like to see the Broncos win a game. Like, I think, you want to see the best teams make it throughout the playoffs just so you have the best competition, and you want it to be exciting. So, yeah, Josh Allen and the Bills moving on would be great because you want to see them play through the rest of the teams. But, I mean, Broncos have played some good football.
They have. Peyton's got them lined up good now.
Yeah, they really hit it with Bo Nix. He's a good player.
Well, it's good when you're a quarterback that has some talent, but you get drafted to a good coaching staff that's good for quarterbacks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You didn't get drafted to the Jets.
Trust me, I miss Sean Payton. I miss Sean Payton in New Orleans a lot, for sure.
I mean, he wasn't able to work with Russ because Russ was already a developed veteran that really didn't want to take any advice, right? You've done it. You've been there. You've won a championship. Head coach doesn't need to coach me. I'm just, he just needs to be a coach. But when you actually have somebody that needs to be brought along and taught and needs to learn, it works wonders to have a coach. What if Mahomes was not drafted to Andy Reid's team, right?
We were going to take him.
You never know, but he's talented anyway, but still.
So, I mean, Sean Payton might be talking out of his ass, but he said we were going to take Peyton, or we were going to take Mahomes at 11, and the Chiefs jumped up to 10 and took him. And then we ended up taking Marshawn Lattimore, which was a good pick. At least we didn't blow the pick. But yeah, that would have been that would have been a much different future for us, for sure. That would have changed everything. Oh, and the other one that was bad too is the following year we traded up. We make this big trade up, and we picked Marcus Davenport, pass rusher, who's no longer on our team. I think he plays for the Vikings now, or now he's a journeyman or whatever. But during that draft, it was like, oh, the Saints are moving up to get Lamar Jackson. This is going to be Lamar Jackson. And we take friggin' Marcus, Davenport.
In 18.
So back years. Now, granted, Breeze was playing great during this time. So, but if we had done kind of like the Packers Jordan Love thing and just sat one of those, sat Lamar Jackson behind Breeze for a year or two, anyway. It's tough. I'm just crying at night, just screaming into a pillow, thinking about these past drafts. And Neo's with me. He's a Browns fan, so we're in the same boat.
Is Kyler Murray going to be playing for any of these teams next year?
It's possible. That or maybe Rodgers.
Yeah, Ogie, I'm a 37-year fan and I'm a season ticket holder. So yes, it's a we. It's a we. We're a family. Me and that team. I'm part of the fam.
There is a part of me that wants to see the Vikings do really well. For some reason, I have this.
So you can jump on
this acquired liking for Sam Darnold.
And he was seeing ghosts the other night against Detroit. He missed a bunch of just easy throws.
Yeah, that's what I read. I didn't get to watch much of it because I was at work, but
it was rough.
Read that.
But I think that's going to serve him because I think that team's going to be like, holy shit, like we could have competed. We just missed a few plays, and I think that's going to be a wake-up call.
He's going to be a question mark next season, right? Do you think the Vikings would be stupid to not bring Darnold back as their at least compete for their franchise
tag him?
I think they said that they want to bring him back.
Yeah, worst case, they just franchise tag him.
Yeah, the crazy thing is,
who else do they have?
JJ.
McCarthy.
They drafted McCarthy in the first round, which I don't know what to expect out of him, but
I'm not expecting absolutely nothing out of him.
Michael says Darnold cost himself millions on Sunday night, but he has the playoffs to redeem himself. Everybody has a bad game.
Ooh, this one's juicy. USA Cards. If you had to open the case, would you rather have 2008 Rittenhouse Iron Man,
Oh God.
Try to snag this puppy or a 2018 Prism football case.
I don't know what's the pull rate on a Downy. Is
Yeah,
it even
right.
one per case? It's probably not.
1 in a billion.
Yeah, I would actually probably take the football case.
I would probably take the football case.
You got to remember that's 2018. Yeah. That's before they went with all their shenanigans. Like you probably actually have a decent chance to pull.
Yeah, I did the 2018 first.
Plus, that class has aged very well. Like Josh Allen, Lamar, Baker, Darnold. Who else?
Yeah, the bum.
That would be fun because the Lamar and the Baker are not common cards. They're not like the silver prisms.
That's the other thing. Silver prisms are 1 per box. I mean, you're only getting. I mean, you probably don't have a good chance of pulling a silver. They're 1 per box in 2018. Yeah. Like you're getting what 12 silvers. That's it out of the entire checklist.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to sell them, because those are even if you get the base Prism rookies out of there, there's high liquidity on those. They move quickly, and they're in that ballpark price range that people can afford.
Prism football would be the more fun rip, I think.
Yeah, because the 2008 Rittenhouse, if you don't hit a Downy, you pretty much have to hit the Favreau or what's his face? Jeff Bridges. The Jeff Bridges auto sells for quite a bit because he doesn't have any pack pulled autos. That card is a ghost too. I think you see the Bridges auto less frequently than the Robert Downey Jr.
Is Myles Garrett leaving the Browns or no?
They don't know yet. It'll depend.
If it was
basically kind of like saber rattled a little bit.
Yeah, I guess what makes it interesting if the because aren't the Vikings going to play the Rams? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the Vikings win that game.
So, yeah, if the Vikings lose kind of back to the Lions and then the Rams in that first round, that makes it interesting with McCarthy because Darnold's not going to be cheap. Even if you franchise tag him, I mean, that's going to be an expensive year. That'll be interesting to see what they do. They'll probably still bring him back, I think, but that would be.
They got to afford it. They're not paying a quarterback because McCarthy's cheap because he's on a rookie.
He's on his rookie deal.
Contract. There's no point of doing that right away.
Yeah, but you still,
I mean, Darnold played himself into a starting.
Well, salary cap's a joke, anyways. Those teams can just create money out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Saints did that, and now they're.
You pay for it eventually, but I mean, you can play games while you're good.
I mean, if you think every team that Darnold's been on would any of them not want him back at this point?
I think that depends on if he plays like he did last week, then it'll just be like, oh, the whole regular.
Or like he's been playing the whole season, but he's played a whole season.
Yeah, he had a bad game.
If we're gonna gauge him on one game, that's unfair.
I would take McCarthy in New Orleans. I think it'd be worth it. I wouldn't trade like a first for him or anything, but if I don't know if they were just trying to get, I don't know, second or third, I think that would be kind of interesting. Because Carr is either moving on after this year, we're either going to cut him post June 1st, or he's going to play out. Or he's going to play out for a year.
He wouldn't restructure his deal or something.
Yeah, which that's fine. Yeah, he signed a contract. I mean, like, it's fine. But like, he's either gone this year or next. Like, like it's
100%.
We're gonna have a new coach, and unless the new coach is basically under the understanding of like, hey, if Carr, we'll play with Carr this year, but I mean, next year's not going to be a good year for us anyways. So, whoever the new coach is, expectations are not going to be. This is not going to be a Gerard Mayo situation in New England where he gets 1 year, or whatever. That's not going to happen. It'll be like, hey, please come coach for us, and you get 5 years, and we'll leave you alone. Cam B asks, have you seen the Rock Roman Reigns dual auto? Didn't you share that on Twitter or somewhere? Didn't you share that?
Yeah, it was the tops now. Chase.
Yeah.
That'll go for insane money.
Is it
I ordered one of those and I ordered one of the Rhea Ripley's.
Is it from Netflix the other night?
Huh?
Is it from Netflix the other night?
Yeah, they're doing tops now for WWE.
Yeah, till the 10th.
They had their first Netflix Monday night. Yeah, The Rock came to the Raw, but I don't know. Would you rather just have a Rock auto by himself?
Yes.
Personally, yes.
Yeah, I mean, do you think like
he's signing in the new Topps Chrome release? So
I know from a wrestling standpoint, Roman Reigns is popular, but if you
I don't care about Roman Reigns, I never watched him.
Yeah, right, I'm just saying he's popular. I don't. I'm not a big fan either.
What's that Chrome WWE gonna sell for? You think a box?
What's Star Wars sell for? A couple $100?
Yeah, like 250, I think.
I'll say 250 to start, but it'll get run up, I bet.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
The
get
one thing
run up.
about Tops, like, they're gonna market the shit and push the stuff hard, and it's gonna generate hype and FOMO.
Yeah, because I'm gonna probably try and get a couple boxes long.
I mean,
it's not
well,
like $500.
what does WWE Prism go for?
I don't
It's
remember.
expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's because of the fact that everybody at that time is thinking of Prism Golds and Shimmers, and you're buying the hype more than anything on that one. The top stuff, I think they're gonna print it differently than like Prism does. I don't know. I just hope it's not going to be super high because I like to get a couple boxes to actually open.
I would pre-order it the second it drops. That'll be at the
I'm
cheapest
already on the
probably.
list to wait for it. And as soon as that day, I'm gonna be sitting there hitting the refresh button.
Did they announce the day that it's going on sale yet?
It's at the end of this month. Yeah, you can sign up for it on Tops's website for it to get an email or phone notification.
Don't wait for the email because it'll be 10 minutes after.
No. But it's just the idea. I'm sure they're going to send a flyer out a little earlier. But it might be like the 31st or something like that, or 30th. I don't know. I have to look back at it. I signed up for it today. I also noticed on Top's website, if you scroll down far enough, they give you common used terms. Your video recently with game used and memorabilia, stuff like that. They actually state what they mean by what they put on the card and what it means, which is the same stuff that you covered for the most part. I think our biggest concerns are usually Panini more than Topps. And Panini, we know, just does whatever they want and they don't care. So it is what it is. But it was just nice. I saw Topps actually put a thing where you could put game used, player worn, event worn. They did the debut patch. They had all these little terms or words or phrases we would use that if somebody new came into the hobby, they'd have an understanding of what it was based on a definition. And I thought that was neat because I'd never seen it.
Here's my thing when it comes to like WWE cards. I don't want Prism. So I'm not really going to have any interest in Topps Chrome if I have any interest in WWE cards at all. Because if I don't like the Prism, what's going to make me want to like the Topps Chrome? It's pretty much just kind of like the same product. I want the thicker stock, nice, immaculate, flawless stuff.
From what I've seen of the Chrome so far, it does look more exciting, especially because a wrestler's a character, and when you get the character type cards and they have the kind of wild backgrounds and you're going to get refractors and stuff, Prism, you still have that stupid border that they put around it, and then the smaller photo. This is a bigger photo, a little more engaging. They did a good job with getting people to, sign specific inscriptions on cards. It looked like everything was on cards, so you don't have to worry about stickers. And I'm sure there's going to be a couple of Easter eggs because Topps usually will throw one or two things in there that you may not know about that may be fun. So I'm actually excited for this product. It's also going to lead us into what basketball is going to probably resemble at some point later this year, which is going to be outrageous.
So if we're talking WWE Topps Chrome, like say for instance, if you bought a box of that, what would you be looking to pull for yourself?
Or a rock auto would be fantastic.
A rock auto out of anything would be fantastic.
I haven't seen the checklist, so I don't know every person that's going to be.
They haven't showed much yet.
Yeah, so it's only what I mean. I don't have a Rhea auto, which you can get a Rhea auto $80 easily. It's cheaper than that if you based on what you want. But if you want like a flawless on card, $80, you can usually pick one up honestly on eBay. So
Super Fractor will be a huge chase out of that.
Yeah, those are going to be stupid crazy. Golds are going to be crazy. Any other low parallel that they throw in there is going to be nuts. People pay a lot of money for those things, and I'd be the person probably the same as y'all. I don't need a card numbered 5 or a 101. I don't care if I like them that much. I'd still like a lesser valued card with the same auto on it and be happy with the extra money that I'd end up with.
See, I don't even know what the wrestling card market looks like. I just know every now and then if I run across a card that I want to add to my collection, I pick it up, like that Steiner Brothers one. But I never look at it as is this an actual market as, that you can flip like football or even basketball.
If it's something rare like what you have, for instance, that Steiner Brother card, that's a rare, it's a really nice looking card. They did a good job with it. That's desirable, especially to anybody that watched that era, because nostalgia plays so much into our psyche now. You see that and it kind of takes you back when you can enjoy it two different ways because somebody else wants
the wrestling. But how does wrestling go? Does it how did the market trends go? You know, we had all the Patrick Mahomes questions earlier. Okay, if Patrick Mahomes wins a Super Bowl, will his cards rise? If he doesn't, will they go down? Well, say for instance, somebody wins their first Super Bowl, will their cards go up? You know, if Jared Goff finally wins a Super Bowl, will his cards see a spike? You know, how's the wrestling market affected by what a wrestler does? I think it's all popularity, but I don't think necessarily winning titles causes popularity.
No, a title will change the fan base's perspective on purchasing a card on somebody or value going up. Legends are always going to be the main thing, and then the top three people in the set are big. So, like, I went to the event here, the SmackDown event, and while I was there, I bought Cody Rhodes autograph pictures, like 11 by whatever they are.
Right.
And they were $25 each, signed, stickered, and everything. I can't get a card of his for that, but I got an auto of him now, and I'm just happy with that. And if I pulled a nice card of him and I really enjoyed it, maybe, but it'd have to be like I'm very photogenic type thing where I'm looking for a picture or something that really pulls me into the card as well to create that factor of, you know, that I want it. And a lot of times they don't go out of their way to really do that on certain cards, which is disappointing. I hate it when I see a set and I look at a card of a person and I'm like, why the hell would you choose this photo? I mean, you own the rights to this player's photo and he's got thousands of them. You chose this crappy photo. I hate that. Like, there's no point of doing that. Make every freaking card look cool to that person, because that's what we're buying it for. I just feel like people get lazy.
Steven Giles, wrestling isn't real comment. You can apply that to Hollywood. You can apply that to pop culture cards. You can say Han Solo isn't a real person. So Star Wars is fake and this, that, and the other. It's all about entertainment and popularity.
Yep.
Don't tell me Han Solo is not real.
Same with sports.
Which Han
It's more
Solo?
about popularity than it is success.
God damn it.
Yeah,
Sometimes they go hand to hand, but
the stream is starting to get dark, and I feel like we're 2 hours and 16 in. I think it's time we probably wrap, boys. I got to get up early per usual. I know that you guys do too. It's 11:23 Eastern. I'm an old man. Anything else that we just want to kind of say quickly here before we?
Kenny's still listening.
Kenny's still. Kenny. My bad. I feel bad that I moved you off. Now
basically kicked his ass off the stream.
He did. So it's funny is I told him he hadn't responded to me on Instagram in 2 years, and then he responded yes to my question like half an hour ago. So technically he has now responded. So Kenny, you're coming back. You'll be back on.
He's the fifth horseman.
Let me respond to Steve, because Steven's been very active in the comments tonight. And earlier he asked a question about, do I have any stories about the dog eating any of my cards? And I'll make it really quick. In my old house, I had a mail slot in my door. So the mail came directly into the front door onto the floor. Well, one day I got a Topps Chrome. It was the first year Topps Chrome. It was a base of Kylian Mbappe back when I was doing some soccer. I was like, I'm going to buy this raw. I'm going to grade it. I paid like $120 for it. It came from Europe. And I got it. I opened the envelope up, and there's like puncture holes through the top loader, and not all the way through the card, but kind of in the card. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, and they only sent it in a plain white envelope with a stamp on it, and it came from overseas. So I'm thinking to myself, man, they sent this in this purple plain white envelope. Man, this thing got damaged in the mail. I even messaged the person on eBay. I'm like, man, this thing arrived damaged. You're like, no, it wasn't damaged. So I'm like, okay, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to file for a return. I'm just going to take the loss on this, right? Well, like a week later, I'm home, and the mailman goes and sticks a handful of envelopes into the mail slot, and Daisy runs across the dining room, shark fin, her hair's up like a shark fin, and she's like, "Wow!" And she latches on to like the dog from The Mask, when they put the mask on, and she latches on to this pile of envelopes and just starts going straight shark. We're head back and forth, throwing the mail all over the place. And I'm like, Daisy, stop being so wild. And she runs off. And I look, and I'm like, this is what happened to the Kylian Mbappe the day that I wasn't home. She snatched it out of the mailman's hand coming to the mail slot. And so now I figured it out. And then after that, I had to, I put a mailbox on my outside door. And and I covered off the mail slot. So my mail no longer came in through my front door. It just went in the mailbox on the front porch instead. But that's back when Daisy was, man, she was still a puppy somewhat. But yeah, it's a story. It'll be a great story to tell forever. So I couldn't be mad at her.
All right. That's a great note to end on, boys. It's been first show in 3 weeks. I think we did a good job here to start out 2025. Friends, we will be back in 2 weeks, 2 Wednesdays from now, to catch up again. So thanks everybody for coming out.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.
See ya.